mission, trying to get it right. Transition, changing the way that I see life. Transition mind. I'm on a mission, trying to get it right. I'm transitioning my life. Making a transition. Ooh, making a transition. Ooh, 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 ooh. Making a transition. Ooh, 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 ooh. Making a transition. Trying to mission, a mission. I'm on a mission. On a mission, I'm trying to get it right. Changing the way that I see life. Transition in my life. On a mission. On a mission. On a mission. Welcome. We are here. This is DJ Genesis and this is Alchemizing Energy. And we are here with the Opinionated Podcast with Betty Fran. And we have a special guest in the house, Stanley, aka Bird, who actually we are really great to have. Welcome everybody to the podcast.
How you doing?
Welcome, Betty.
Hello. This is Betty Fran.
Hello.
I love the song. The introduction song is nice. I was dancing.
Right, that's my song. I wrote that song.
I like it. Nice.
Thank you. So today we are getting into the first subject. We got like multiple subjects we're gonna talk about. We're gonna get into the DL thing that's been like on the news. We're gonna get into R. Kelly, and a little bit later on we have a special guest. Mel's gonna come on and get into this Diddy situation because there's a lot of changing stuff in the trial. It is crazy. Man, look like the trial might not be going on for too much longer, y'all. It is crazy. R. Kelly think that he is getting set up, that they're trying to kill him in prison. And then before this, we have T.S. Madison. We have this whole thing with the DL situation, and we have that information. So we're going to start off. So I did a show earlier last week where we talked about the DL community, right? Because T.S. Madison got on there with Nene Leakes and she was talking about, hey, you know, what kind of, do you date gay men? And T.S. Madison says, I don't date gay males, right? And that just took me down an entire rabbit hole of what, you know what I'm saying? What? And so it reminded me of Marquise Winters, who was at the time back in the day called the DL detective, and he was going out and he was kind of like getting it on with other men and like exposing them. Now the situation is what is there to expose? If what you're doing, you know, whether you believe that you are a gay male or a transgender, if it's considered to be a normal thing, why would you have to expose someone? So this was a little bit of the show. We're gonna like kind of like review some of the topics on the show that we did at that time. So I'm going to play it and we'll go from there. Let me know if you want to say something, just say stop and I'll stop the video and let you guys comment on it. Let's go.
So me and her go out, we hanging out at a party or whatever. So we come to the party and it's these young guys and they keep hanging out around us.
Now here's a question before we go into the story. If people don't feel like being gay or being transgender is wrong, why is there an expose? Why are they exposing people for doing what they feel is right? You know what I'm saying? If it's right, why is there an expose? Hey, what's up, Texas? Listen, you need to come up here for this because I need someone to come and talk and give me some commentary, help me with this because this is going to be interesting. Because I'm trying to understand what's going on here. You know, with this exposing thing, the whole exposing is just crazy to me. Like, how are you exposing something that you feel is right? But let's go into the story. She's about to tell her story.
So they're dancing around us and everything, and they come up, they want to talk. So they're like, "Oh, how old?" We like, "How old are y'all?" They're like, "Yeah, we 21." Now, these are definitely babies. I'm far from 21, and so is my friend. So we like, okay. So as the party is going on, my friend keeps saying, I have seen that one guy, one of the guys, she's seen him before. And I'm like, there's no way. We don't know any 21-year-olds around here or whatever. So we still going on. We still having drinks. And these guys are getting lit in here, okay? They're getting wasted, drinking Henny. They come over and buying us shots and stuff. So we just sitting here looking at these little boys. And my friend just keep telling me, yo, I know this guy from somewhere. And I'm like, man, you've had so many drinks. We don't know these guys. These are 21-year-olds. They go to the local college around the corner from here. So as the night is going on, one of them, I'm just going to call him Green Eyes. Green Eyes was dancing all over my friend and trying so hard to get with her. So he's dancing on her and everything. And he decides to unbutton his shirt and show her a tattoo. Now, this tattoo is it's words, and it's on his chest. So all night, he dancing all up in my friend's ear, whatever, all near our area. And my friend is searching on her phone, like, where has she seen this guy? First, she thought he was her Facebook friend or something, and she just kept searching and searching. Why in the world did she finally find where she saw him at? This guy was on the Down Low Guys exposed page, but he cannot know that he's on there because the picture had him shirtless with the tattoo. What? So not only was he on this exposed web page, he was in a very compromising video. Okay, let me tell you, baby, this video, I can't even go into detail of what he was doing on this video, but it was terrible. And he cannot know that video was on the internet, because if he did, I guarantee you he wouldn't be walking around showing random girls at the bar his tattoo, the infamous tattoo. So the rest of the night we had to play it off and try to, act like we never. I tried to first of all unsee this video, so that was crazy. So that was our laugh of the night, knowing that this guy has this video circulating on the DL page and probably doesn't even know it.
Listen, y'all, what is going on? So basically, it's the gay dudes exposing the DL men, right? And then it's interesting because you have people like Marquise. Now, like I said, Marquise is no longer exposing the DL men. He or she just got married to somebody like about a few years ago. And so now Marquise is no longer exposing men. Now Marquise has transitioned over into a woman. So Marquise did all these different live streams. I remember when back in the day, he would tell exactly why he was exposing the men. And for the most part, he was like, I just think it's wrong that men are, doing this to women. Why does he do it? So let's go into this.
Like, how did you notice me right here?
Because I don't, we passed it. I just know what you look like.
I must look the same online as I do in person. Because everybody see me out, they be like, hey, Marquise. I'm like, do I look the same? My name is Marquise Rivers, and I'm also known as a DL detective. I've been shot, left for dead. People have shot at my mother's home. They robbed me. They stole my car and set it on fire. They've done everything to try to break me. Shot, robbed, attacked, all that kind of stuff.
I don't give a fuck about what people think about me. I do what I want to do. I do what I want to do. I mean, you honestly think I wasn't gonna show nobody?
A lot of women have no idea about the gay lifestyle. They have gay friends, they have gay siblings, they have gay family members, but they don't know deep into the gay community. So a lot of women are in relationships with men, married to men, have children with men who they actively are sleeping with or have slept with that are in relationships with men.
But
and they would never know if no one said anything, because there's several other gay men out here who won't do what I do, who are not going to tell people.
Monica, I mean, Genesis, do this sound like
you tell about my government?
I'm
I will say my government. Okay, go ahead. What was the question?
But do you think that he has like a vendetta, like to do this in his community, because it seemed like he must have got bullied or something like that. So it's like almost he got a vendetta.
Like almost like he is nefarious, right?
Yeah,
But in a certain way, it's weird because he justifies it. Let's see what he says.
Hey, okay. I'm sleeping with your boyfriend, or hey, I'm sleeping with your husband.
So I met bro. He seen the post on my page and shit. I met him. He got down. Motherfucker got there chasing me and shit. I'm scared my motherfucking life. You know what I'm saying? Nigga know I live there. Like, y'all women don't understand the shit that I have to go through. Like, to help y'all know these niggas be on the down. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't know. All them haters who say whatever the fuck they want to say about me, they say what the fuck they want to say about me. Because the DL detective, I'm gonna kill them. I'm gonna get every last one of y'all motherfucking niggas, and I'm gonna put my motherfucking life at risk for it. Because they didn't even almost try to kill me. But I got that ass on hit camera, my nigga. I got that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But you all these thug ass niggas think you're a little rapper, my nigga. But I got you, though, nigga.
Women is what I do this for, because they were my safe havens growing up. Women have always been my friends. Women have always came to my aid. Growing up, boys didn't want to hang out with me. I was too feminine. I wasn't picked to play on the basketball team. I couldn't play football with them. They didn't want to go outside and play. So when I was sitting alone at the lunch table, it was girls, come over here, Marquise. Come over, forget them. Well, if I get into a physical altercation.
See, right there, he was picked on. Something happened. He was picked on. He got a vendetta.
That's what it sounds like, right?
Yeah, in his hood.
Go ahead, Stanley.
Yeah, it sounds like he's vindictive. He's like that picking on him, that was the last straw. So what he was gonna do is get him real good and then expose him, trying to blackmail him.
Yep,
Right.
because they probably picked on him at school, like bullied him since he was younger because he was a little feminine, and then it just like he just got a vendetta against whoever.
All right, so let's
You know,
go.
Asian girls got my back. So I'm who I am today because of women. The most that I get mostly is three things. I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill myself, or how much money do you want to stop doing what you're doing? December 28, 2000.
So he ended up getting shot, by exposing these gay men. I'm not sure if I don't know exactly. He must have made enough money on all these things because he had an actual page where he actually was showing. He had like a hidden camera set up, and you could watch it on Snapchat, pay a certain amount of money, and see him really like holding out these DL guys, and it was crazy, right? So now you have like this conversation happening with the T.S. Madisons, and now this was like 10 years ago, so or 10 or 6 whatever years ago. Now he got shot and everything like that, and now he is, hey, what's up 3MK? So now he's transitioned over into a woman. So he went through all this and that, went through all that, and I'm down for the woman. So now that's the reason why it kind of goes right into the whole transgender argument, because he started off exposing the men, and then now he becomes a transgender. This same dude that's over here, the woman did this. So and then there's like this new argument about the transgenders that feel like women are, that they're women, right? So let's get into it. It's crazy. It's like, what? Interesting, because she kind of played in Nene Leakes' face. So there's this whole like interview going on where T.S. Madison is telling Nene Leakes that she looks like a tranny, but then saying, "Oh no, you just tran A." And so this other young lady, her by the name of Spiritual Whistleblower, she called it out, and I kind of agree with her, to be quite honest. I agree with her. So let's go into what she says.
Time that somebody calls T.S. Madison out and trans women like her, nobody will talk about this. And I think it's about time. And I'm calling all psychologists. If you're a psychologist, and you happen to be homosexual, whether you're trans or what have you, you have a clinical degree in psychology, please come forward. If you have an ounce of integrity and you recognize this type of abuse within the LGBT, let's have a conversation. I'm gonna call it out, and I don't give a fuck who gets mad. And don't try to report my page, because I will appeal it and TikTok will put it back up. Okay, ain't nobody bullying no trans in this video. Ain't nobody bullying LGBT. I'm speaking truth. There's a lot of toxic motherfuckers within the LGBT community that don't want to hear the truth. And when you call out the truth, they quick to say, "Oh, you homophobic." No, bitch, you don't want to be exposed for the toxic piece of shit that you are. I'm going to say, what I have witnessed myself in the LGBTQIA community. You have your good and you have your bad. Now I have a lot. I dare somebody to call me motherfucking homophobic, because a lot of my followers are gay men, and I do have trans women following me that co-sign my message, because nobody will call out the toxic motherfuckers in the LGBT. So what I think about T.S. Madison is toxic as hell. Nene Leakes allowed T.S. Madison to play in her face. That's that whole interview on Nene's show, that podcast. T.S. Madison, this is what narcissistic. I do believe T.S. Madison is highly narcissistic, sociopathic, mind you. That's just my opinion. I see all through her shit. Manipulative as fuck.
Allegedly.
She don't want no feminine man. She wants a masculine man. She said that in the interview, which means she messing with the DL men. She's one of them trans women that loves to mess with DL men that already have wives at home. She don't want the feminine one. She want the masculine one, because she's in competition. She's in a secret competition with his wife, and he's probably paying her to stay quiet, buying her, gifts and shit, paying her bills. That's one of the perks of being a side piece. But in the back of her mind, she's getting some satisfaction from hurting his wife.
Let's go
Yeah,
into
but
that.
how can you really blame her when the DL man should be to blame because he's the one that's going undercover from the wife. Like she's just they probably coming up to her for it. Like
Or
I'm
him
not
up,
getting
maybe.
that.
Well, the only and here's the thing is that hey, she's saying that I don't date gay men, and
Right.
then Nene Leak say, "What do you mean?" You know what I'm saying? Isn't it that here TS Medicine have a whole penis? Okay, so wouldn't that be gay? Like, what do you mean I don't date gay men? That's a gay man. If you are doing it with a man with a penis, that's gay. So I think that we have gotten so like weird with our descriptions of things, and I think it's almost like a bullying tactic that the LGBTQ community uses to be able to work a certain way within the community and not be held accountable for what they're doing, and they get to like kind of do this thing. Any thoughts about that?
Like do what, Monica? I mean, do what?
They get to like be getting it in with dudes and then say that that's not gay. Have a whole penis, dress up like a woman, and get it in with a dude and say, "Well, no, I'm a woman too." It's like, well, you're not, no, no, you're not. You know what I'm saying? And so, no offense to the gay community, but no, you're not. You know what I'm saying? If you have a penis, you are a man.
Of course.
Just because you get some boobs put in does not make you into a female. Sorry, you understand what I'm saying? And then they'll turn around and expose people and do all this weird stuff. It's like, well, what is there to expose if there's nothing to expose? You understand? So let's go.
And that's the problem with the LGBT community is trans women like T.S. Madison who protect DL men. Trans women like T.S. Madison who are toxic and sociopathic, and they help abusive men to destroy women and children. I said it. I don't care who gets mad because only the ones that are guilty of being abusers and protecting abusers will come for me. The first thing that these trans women who I feel are sociopathic, and I didn't say all trans women. Like I said, I have trans women following me that support my content. I have gay men that follow and support my content. They know I'm motherfucking telling the truth. The LGBT community has a lot of toxic, narcissistic, sociopathic motherfuckers within it. And they taint the entire community. Instead of taking accountability, they just say, you're homophobic, you're this, you're that. No, bitch. Who's calling out these toxic motherfuckers in the LGBT?
Right.
Thoughts? You know, is she wrong?
Man, I'm gonna tell you like this. We all taking one side because it's a lot of fall back on women too. Like you got trans women you got women trying to be trans men. So I mean, ain't nobody looking at both sides of the script.
Right.
Yeah, but the trans men are not trying to say that men are not men. That's the big difference. And that's why she's saying that it's misogyny. It's a misogynoir. It is in that same level of misogyny that trans woman that was a man at first will say, well, no, I'm a woman, but then you don't have the same thing on the other side to say that now I have never heard a trans woman say cisgender male, but they'll call a woman a cisgender woman. You know what I'm saying? You're the cis woman and this, that, the other.
I feel like this. I feel like this. Everything that used to be taboo ain't taboo no more.
Right.
So you have to just think about the times. There's a lot of stuff that was literally up under the bus is like okay now, but y'all gotta understand. Back in the day, they was doing this too, so it ain't nothing but a repeated cycle. That's why I challenge people, hey man, sometimes you have to break the curse. You got to break some type of curse you got on you, because evidently you ain't gonna never prosper. You know what I'm saying? It's just being fact, you can't be judging something that like we personally ain't involved in. You know what I'm saying? It's just I feel that way because it's like I done interviewed transgender women, and guess what? They do have it rough. They forte is sex. They feel that they've been outcast, kicked out by their family. So guess what? They 9 times out of 10 gotta sell their body just to get what they need because it's just like a woman that's hoeing. Same thing. They got to do. But I mean, you got something that get a job then, but I mean it's like 9 times out of 10 you run across an average transgender chick, they're gonna tell you they selling their body. They're just straight up. So all that exposing, that's for niggas like they say DL. You ain't if you a straight guy, you a straight guy. You're not gonna be messing with nothing like that. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
So
Correct.
it's no getting the way around it because it's like a woman that messes with a woman. It's never looked at, frowned upon. It's like a cultural thing. It's cool. But if it's a dude,
Yeah,
just
and then the DL person, they're just going like, what is it? They want that. That's what they want, that taboo, just like you said. So they're the ones that want it. They just don't want to be out there
we don't.
representing.
And also I'm going to show you that see you got to watch out because when you call that out, there was just most recently a woman and a man that were like content creators, and she called out his gay activity and he killed her. You know what I'm saying? So that's the danger of when you're dealing with a guy that might be straddling the fence on the woman versus male, and then you call that out, you know, and you might lose your life by even saying anything about what they're doing because of the taboo that's associated with. Let's get back into Markeith real
But
quick.
that might be just where, that's, they don't want it to be out and they get in their feelings.
I put it
'Cause-
like this. There's a lot of people at Prestige that's out there like that. And if like the higher they on the pyramid, it will hurt. Like literally will take a lot out of them because right, you being exposed for everybody to say misconduct. Okay, I like a dude told in Congress against Texas in Congress. He said, "Man, how y'all gonna tell a grown person how to conduct their time?" But this is what y'all wanted to. I want to build democracy on grown folks acting like grown folks and minding their business. So guess what? If they grown and they minding their business, guess what? That's to them. You hear me? But I'm not supposed to go prying nobody business and be trying to expose them because guess what? You already know what kind of relationship you jumping into. You know you
Right.
the third or fourth wheel. So don't get in your feelings when I gotta go home to wifey or she gotta go home to her husband, whatever the case may be. That's just plain and simple.
Right. And everybody don't want to be out there representing, what they do in their personal life.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean they
And
So
that's where you get that exposing thing. So let's get into it. So a person don't want to expose what's going on in their personal life. So then, like I said, you have it's not that we are judging them, they're judging themselves because how do you have a DL whisperer, a DL like a DL detective? Let's watch this. Look.
I am fine and well. Yes, I was shot by a Dallas man.
I was on life support for 5 days. I had to learn how to walk again. If they didn't care about what people thought about them, they would be openly gay. Their reputation is their lives. So when you damage their reputation in a way that they don't want to be damaged, their lives are gone. So they'll try to take yours because now they can't go back to the hood where they are, or they can't go back to their jobs, or they can't be around their family, or their mother of their child might let them around their children anymore. So or they might just be afraid to be seen in the general public as a homosexual man. So because you've taken their life from them, they will take your life from you. Because I could tell you I'm sleeping with a man, or you could think it, but no one's going to bring you the proof like Marquis. I'm going to bring you the proof. I'm going to bring you the video, the audio recordings, the pictures, the any type of a scandal that he's doing with another man. I'm going to be the one. If you want to know if your man is on the down low, you call Marquis Rivers, and I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out, and I'm going to notify you, and I'm going to let everybody know. I'm going to let the entire world know. I'm not to play with when it comes to that. I don't work alone. I have decoys. I have to pay people for information. I have gay men that work for me, transgender women who are men who are now women that work for me, that help me and aid me in what I do. And basically, I go out. I have hidden audio recording stuff that I have that I can record them admitting to what we have done or what they will do, whether they want to be paid to have sex, whether they're soliciting themselves for sex. Sometimes I invite them over to my personal home or to hotel rooms. I have sex with them. I record it and I post it for the entire world
We
to see.
worse than
You
did
to
it.
come out, I'm gonna bring you out.
Yeah.
Every woman who I notify, I'm saving a life. Every single one, because that man could give her anything sexually, you know. So when you playing Russian roulette with other people's lives, I'm gonna have a say so in it when it relates to women. This is my girlfriend. It's the only girlfriend I got, and this is my mama. And as you see, my mama has leukemia, cancer, and a lot of my. I mean, that's really why I go so hard. Really, even with my money. I mean, I got to take care of my mama too. I mean, I can't be a son if I don't take care of my girlfriend. This on
So
Thoughts?
what you think? Like, I mean, to me, why do you have like gay detective? To me, that's to build his page to get clicks. He probably making some money off of that. Big money.
I put like this. That's like the. Have y'all ever seen Cheaters?
Yes.
That's what that is. That's
Yeah.
exactly what that is. I'm expose the man for being gay.
Yep.
I got everything at my disposal. Other transgender women, gay men. I could bring you to my personal place. You go in, I'm recording you. Now you just broke 6 different laws.
Yeah.
You supposed to be up under the ground right now.
Yeah. Because that
Here's the
right
thing.
there.
Here's the thing, though. In his mind, he feel like he's doing a service to the women that these men are probably doing this and they're married. They might be married or with a person for a long period of time, but they might have this little kink that they like to do this. Do you think that that's wrong?
No, it's
Yeah.
not wrong, but at the same time, listen. I believe this closed mouths. I mean, you know the saying, but I feel like this. If you're with this person, you should know what this person doing. It's not that you following the person or you can tell by a person's demeanor. That's
But
basically it.
but
You be around your spouse that long, you gonna know they demeanor. Now if they
but it
just
seems like he's setting people up though. Like,
yeah, he is.
you know, like he's going to a bar or something, and he might like his friend example, his friend Sue like got this dude she just met or whatever, and he like, well, I'm going to test him out just to see.
I wouldn't
You,
say he's fitting them up like that. I think somebody giving them like, okay, I feel my husband's suspicious or he either ran across the right person or the wrong person, and okay, it's on go time now, so I got to get him. You know what I'm saying? Ain't none of this random because if he was doing this randomly, he been already
Oh yeah,
at it.
people are giving him people to like see if they're gay, and then he sets them up, puts them into a situation to see if they would go, and a lot of time they do go. So I don't know what this says about our society, like that most men might be on the spectrum of
yeah, but
homosexuality. I don't know.
is he dressed up as a woman when he
No,
does this?
he'll be dressed up just like he looked on that thing, like a dude. He
Oh,
be
okay.
doing it to them as a whole man. There's no like transgender thing. But the situation is with the T.S. Madison thing. Let's get into that. Let's go.
Because of course I had to go get the picture.
Let me slow this down because even though this guy is, a gay male, he's called the DL Whisperer, right? And so now you have the DL Whisperer, and he's going out and exposing gay men once again, like about 6 years later. Now that guy done retired, now he's the new one. So let's go.
I'm so petty. That's petty, huh? I know. But it would not be me if I was not petty. But so people wanted me to talk about this. I'm gonna give people a little time to get in here because I did just announce that I was going live. So
Let me forward it.
We already get onto the delusion, but it's gonna be like a
Let me rewind it because she said some stuff. This is not what it is. So let's go.
sick of it, but this is the actual quote.
What? Okay, well, I you know when you guys be saying that doesn't do you only know gay men? Well, I don't date gay men. What?
So we already walked to the races. Let me put it like right here. So we're gonna restart it because some people might not have saw it.
That doesn't do you only know gay men? Well, I don't date gay men. What?
We already get onto the delusion, but it's gonna be like a 10-second clip.
Okay, well, I you know when you guys be saying that, that's weird. Why?
Very
Because
weird.
what do you mean you don't date gay men? Because if he is sleeping with you and sleeping with a woman, he's something. Well, he's not gay. What is he?
What is he? And that's what we're going to start this conversation with. What is he? If a man is
Yeah, what is it?
If a man is sleeping with trans women and women, what is he? T.S. Madison said he is not gay. Good morning, Divine. How are you doing today? Thank you for joining in. T.S. said he's not gay. So what do we think
What
he
is he?
Because in my opinion, I was like, why do we keep having this debate? Because like she said, okay, this is then when she followed up. If a man walks in here and sees you and I, and he wants to essentially sleep with both of them, then he's into women. And then he was like, well, that's because he doesn't know. And she's like, no, he's into women. It's like, right, he's into women. When he finds out that you're a man, if he stays with you, that's going to make him be gay. You just getting off. I'm doing good. I'm just trying to figure out why we keep having this debate. Because I'm like, well, what is T.S. Madison not getting? It's like they're trying to act like they're not men. Like T.S. Madison, you just talked about that you had a big dick. I'm not sure if anybody has ever seen it, but if you want to see it, it's online. It's big.
Oh my.
It's very big. So that's why I'm just a little
Oh
confused.
my.
Like,
Thoughts?
I want to say this because I'm feel like this. I done seen transgender women, and believe me, it's scary. But like at the same time, I'm gonna say this: like they talk about if a guy messes with a woman and sleeps with a transgender woman, I would consider that him being gay. But at the same time, I would say bi because that's what a lot of women would say too. Now, if
Yep.
you was full-fledged gay and men like men, you know what I'm saying? Because like I'd have been to places like a swingers club where it was like with some friends, and it was like they were showing straight gay porn, like man porn, man on man, muscular, and I was like, guys get off on that, but then like Madison say she like muscular man, like masculine man, so. If you say you like masculine man and you consider him not gay, it's like contradicting itself. But what you
It,
really want to say is I'm messing with a bi man.
right, right.
The whole is exposed to people, that's like kind of stupid because how
It
you gonna
is.
how you gonna expose somebody? What are you getting out of it? You know what I'm saying?
Right. I want to know that too. What are you getting out of it? Like, what is the whole
Money. It's almost like a blackmail
and
situation.
But
clout and
that's
clout?
what I was saying earlier. That's what I was saying earlier when I said you got people that just devious like that. Like they could like I can't have a relationship with you. You know what I'm saying? That's how
Right.
some of the transgender women look at it. I can't have a relationship with you because you got a wife or you don't want to be seen with me. So guess what? I'm gonna burn you up. Make sure your image get tarnished. But at the same time, while you trying to tarnish him and burn him up, guess what? All them gifts, all them trips, all that crazy stuff you like to do going out the door.
Yep, it's out the door. Like what? It's like, yeah, just like
Dude,
remember
dudes
back in the
got
day
social.
they had who
Dudes
was the
got social status.
comedian?
That's all I
Eddie
want to say.
Murphy. Like Eddie Murphy. Remember how they was saying he was questionable because he picked up a transgender lady. He said he just gave her a ride.
Man, listen, I don't even judge Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy is a excellent father. He got 9 kids. You
Yes,
ain't
he
heard it.
does.
You ain't heard nothing about this man in the tabloids. So I mean, do your thing. If you keep it under wraps, do your thing. I'm not even tripping. I'm still gonna watch the movies. I'm still gonna support you because you're funny. But
Right.
at the same time, as an individual,
But it was almost like the same person that the transgender girl or whatever
Here's my
tried
thing.
to
Okay,
expose him. And what was the purpose?
I put it
Because
like
he
this.
didn't get anything from that.
What about Usher? What about
Right.
Justin? What about everybody that went to a Diddy party? You know, Mike Tyson said in a documentary, he said they was back there. You don't want to go to a Diddy party. They back there playing butt naked football. So what that tell you? Whoever gets tackled, they have a vivid imagination. But at the same time, it's like, for me to be a straight guy, I will literally tell the person like, hey man, I do not trip on y'all because this what a lot of people are individualized and it's not cool, like categorized. And like when you categorize a lot of people and you put that jacket on them, guess what? You'll think the whole bunch is like that when they're not. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
All right, so let's go. Let's talk about it. Let's go.
Yes, that's why I'm just like, but I don't even. Avian said he's the person that he wants a little bit of peen, low key, but his cognitive dissonances can't handle a full man yet. He doesn't want to get dominated. Maybe a film boy, they'll take now. But the point is that I guess my focal point is T.S. Madison right now because, and I mean, like I said, I get people want to respect people, but she's literally saying that she's a woman, even though she has a dick. And she's saying men have to accept me for my penis, but I'm not going to use it. But it's going to be there. But don't ask me to use
What?
it. Yes, you can see it. But
You
don't
know
touch
they're
it. Like,
using
what?
it. They're
And I always
using
be a little confused when they use somebody that sold their dick to be an advocate for their community. Like I said, with Barney, aka Ursula, I would never respect somebody like her. Like the same, you're literally out here proving everybody's point. Like she's literally saying people have to pay her for her dick. She's still out here selling that dick. So I just feel like trans.
So now I'm not sure if everybody heard this perspective from a gay man about the trans community.
I'm gonna tell you
And
something like
I'm
this.
seeing the more and more I look into it, it's a lot of gay men that feel the same way.
I put it like this. It's a lot of gay men that don't like transgender. They'll tell you they don't like transgender. And it's like crazy because I'm like, you have cross dressers and you have other stuff that goes along with it.
He goes into it. Hold on. Before you go into that, let me play this because he's about to go into that. I want you to hear this. And this is the part that gets really crazy. Watch what he says. Hold on, watch. I mean, it's interesting. Let's go.
Isn't be wanting women to respect them, but it's like women don't be out here selling dick. Women can't sell dick. They don't have a dick to sell.
Yeah.
That's the part that they keep missing. Then they go to, well, gender and sexuality are different. Okay, but our sexualities were based off of gender. Like we can't, when people were thinking of sexualities, it was based off gender. That's why it's gay if two men are together. That's why she's using the word he's not gay. I don't date gay men. Because a gay man does not want to be with a woman, with a chick, with, like the straight man say, hey Bree, if I want to be with a man or a woman that has a dick, I might as well just be with a man. Yes,
Hello?
because men don't want them. I've heard so many DL men say like they don't want to be with trans women that don't have a dick. Because how they look at it, if you have a vagina, I could just go be with a woman, a real. And how they say it, they'll be like, I'll go be with a real woman, an actual woman. They literally emphasize that they like trans women because it's the all-in-one. They have a vagina. They have not. Ooh, hold on. Ooh.
They don't have no vagina. Hold on now.
They have a penis. They have the boobs. They have the somewhat of a woman's aesthetic. Because, like I always tell women, all women don't look masculine. So some men don't even like masculine. Some men don't even like. I mean, all women don't look feminine. Why am I so jumbled up today? All women don't look feminine. So I'm like, some men are attracted to a more masculine woman. I was like, people have to understand everything is subjective when you start talking about looks. Because how I view somebody being feminine might be different from how somebody else views it. So that's why I always say, like, it's really about the body parts. Because that's what makes the difference. The men or the DO men that are messing with trans women, guess what they want? They want dick.
They want the
Maybe I don't hide nowhere. In Atlanta, Southside, find me. You keep talking about hiding, come find me. Nene wigs. Y'all be doing all of this talking on the internet. You need to get out in real life, and then maybe you'll find me. Because if you're just gonna sit on the internet, you're never gonna find me. But you gotta come outside. You gotta actually be outside doing some things to find me.
They get to like threatening them, but let me tell you this. Then he gets into that the whole cross dressing is a. We'll see. Watch this, and then I'm gonna bring it back to the panel. Hold on.
But anyways, like I was saying, because I don't know why they be acting like. But anyways, that's what I was saying. I don't know why trans women are so delusional. I mean, I get it, it's body dysmorphia, but I think it's something else deeper there. Like, I feel like it's got to be something deeper. To me, it's like a form of narcissism. That's why I always say trans women and
So it's even gay men that are saying that it's narcissism. It's gay men that are looking at the trans woman saying that, you know, listen, I want a straight man, and you know, I'll break up a whole home and then expose the guy, even after they discarded him, because once they've discarded him, they expose. So discard then expose, right? Because they're not gonna what? So you're gonna expose the guy and be with the guy after that? Like, no, you would do this. They discard them, then expose them. So there's a certain level of narcissism to it.
That's crazy.
That's the part that's killing. It's like this is wrapped up into all kind of mental illness. That's why Black's Law Dictionary say that transgender is a mental illness.
EO men are the same. That's why when we saw that trans girl crying, what did I say? Cry me a river. Because she's talking about when I get ready to expose, I thought you were a woman. They are women until they're ready to expose something. How are you going to expose the man if he's dealing with women? Aren't you a woman? So what do you expose them? And then they get quiet. You're exposing because you know that you're a nigga. And that's okay. Just accept the fact that you're a nigga. A lot of them, let me tell you why they're narcissistic. Think about it. They're men that are trying to be women to the point that they're going as far to get boobs, to be on hormones. Like, think about it. Nobody who would hate on a trans person, boo. Y'all are literally being everything but what you were born as. The women in the comments, they were born as women. I don't even know if I can moderate it on this, though. I'm not on YouTube. I'm not on the actual, wait. Oh, yes, I can. Hold on. I can ban people. Hold on. Give me one moment. Thank you for saying that.
But yeah, so, I mean, and why does it take a gay dude to actually be able to speak out about this? And, well, actually, it was the woman spoke out. People are finally speaking out about this, and shouts out to even him as a gay man, like even just helping out the woman and know that, listen, watch out for this. If you think that your man is doing X, Y, Z, look, watch out.
Try to get your dick chopped in half and turn into a motherfucking pussy and get them big ass double D floaters put on your motherfucking chest, and the niggas still don't look at you as a woman. So I would be upset with me too, because I can sit up here naturally. I don't have to get my testosterone blocked. I don't have to go to the doctor and constantly make sure I got hormones. I don't have to be worried about if Trump gonna be the reason why I don't get my motherfucking hormones and I can't keep on with my transition. Because this is not a transition. This is reality. And if these tranny ass bitches came to a reality, and let me bring the language back. If these trans women return to reality, they would realize like nobody really cares about them. They want to be in competition with everybody, gay men, heterosexual women, like everybody's their competition and nobody's even paying them any attention. It's like they're fighting to be accepted and nobody gives a fuck. Like I always tell people, when I be out in real life, you see trans people at bars and clubs. When I be out, I don't see them nowhere. When I be at work, I don't see them there.
Somebody's thing is messed up.
When I was at the airport.
Somebody said I don't see it.
Is that me?
I don't know, but he's gonna get into something real quick that I was trying to get to, but let's go.
And I mean, of course, I know they be places, but they don't be out like they act like they be out. Like, you be in a motherfucking house behind that motherfucking camera, behind that motherfucking keyboard because you're scared to go out. Like I always tell them, like, bitch, you don't even got a bathroom that you use. You scared to go in the women's bathroom because you already know, like,
I think this is crazy that a gay dude is going so hard in on trans, but trans. So maybe is there like a separate? Okay, I'll ask this after he makes this point because Stanley was about to make a point too. But I want you to hear this from this guy who is a gay man that makes this point. It's crazy. Watch.
I'm pretty sure I can say this on here. It's perverted. Like people don't realize cross-dressing and that trans thing is a type of perversion. I'm so glad we're on YouTube because let's really talk.
What did a gay guy say that transgender is perverted?
Wow. What's going on with your microphone, buddy?
Go ahead. What y'all got to say about that?
Whose microphone, first off? Because it's like messy. Is that me?
No. Nobody was. Maybe is it mine?
Did you freeze up?
I think she did.
Oh.
Okay, so Stanley, what do you think about what was just said? So he just went into a whole tirade about what he feels about the whole situation, and then he goes into that transgender is a perversion, and
I
this is a gay
mean,
dude. So what do you think about it?
I think all homosexuality is perversion because everybody has a freaky nature. You know what I'm saying? So being that they're more like liberated, spiritual, well, that's what they say, spiritual more liberated, they do what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? It's just I put like this, the guy he makes good points, but from like being around both crowds, it's like the gay guys don't like him. And I don't know the reason, real talk, because everybody has their own opinion, their own reasoning. But at the same time, I feel like this for a trans woman to go and do all that. I feel like this men are visual, women are visual. Now
Hmm.
the the level, I mean, the times has changed to where women terrestrial is like at an all time high.
And
Like they're
testosterone is it all? You mean testosterone?
yeah, they're
That's
like
testosterone. I'm like, what the hell?
yeah, I'm
Cholesterol?
sorry. You know, it flipped. You know what I'm saying? Guys are embracing the more inner feminine side, and women are, you know what I'm saying, embracing their more masculine side. So it's like a whole role reverse, like period. Like you couldn't get this type of stuff about like 20 years ago, 30 years ago. You couldn't.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
no.
So it's like now everything is more acceptive, and it's like I put like this for a transgender woman that go through all those changes just to please a dude when they know what a dude like. That's like speak volumes. Now, don't get me wrong. Like,
Is it a form of deception though?
I mean, it can't be. It can be deception, but it can't be deception because guess what? If I knew you before you got that stuff done, guess what? You still gonna be the same person that to me you is. You know what I'm saying? A lot of women, I feel like this when I was locked up, a lot of women were always called the guys that was gay or trans girlfriend, home girl.
Yep.
So so it's like even out here right now, you gonna catch the same thing. If a dude is like gay and like he's like the female version of the couple, when he go out with his homegirls or his co-workers, guess what? He homegirl.
So do you
He's
think that women are feeding into this whole like gay and transgender thing?
you gotta
But it's
understand
been like this for a long time.
Hmm.
been like that.
Now you said you
Yeah,
went
it's
to
been
prison.
like this.
Listen, you said you went to prison, and I wanted to bring up something, and I wanted to get your opinion on. I'm glad that you brought that up because a lot of people think that this whole thing with gay is kind of rooted in prison. Like, okay, you've been in the prison for a certain amount of time, then there's a larger chance that you might be bisexual. And so there's like this whole thing on Real Life Street Stars where we talked to this guy Vern, and he talks about how he got stabbed and whatever, raped and stabbed, and he talks about his whole situation there. I want you to give your opinion on this situation. Is prison like a place where this is kind of like rooted at? Let's go.
Catch it, because I was again naive to all of the wording and all of the.
Can you explain some of the groundwork that you felt was being laid, if you can remember?
Well, like the guy, he would say, "Hey, the guy that let's just say John. Hey, everybody should, is either with somebody or this or that." And even John, John, for him to be the stand-up guy he is, hell, he's even getting fucked. So it's like either you volunteer to be with somebody or somebody gonna take you. So you have your choice. Which one you gonna do? And I was like, well, neither one really. I don't want to get down with either one. So he started.
This is a cell. You talking to your cell?
No. Somebody that I got introduced to from being from Louisiana, or being from. He was. You would have to kind of know Shreveport, to know like the surrounding little towns and whatnot.
Right.
So he was somebody else from one of the little towns surrounding Shreveport. So because he was the only one that I knew at that time in that particular unit that was from my area, he the one that I kind of clung to. So by me clinging to him, so he was like, well, you know, everybody's doing it, you know, and then we might he might get me to start talking about some of the street stuff that I did, like some of the girls I was with. So when he found out, like he found out like I ate pussy. So you suck a hole, you suck a hole, you suck a pole. So it's kind of like you start playing sex games and shit. So what?
So
He was
the dude was
gaming
playing
them.
homosexual games with him, and he didn't recognize him.
Yeah.
He didn't know when to take off.
Yes.
So because you know when you get a celly and he do certain things and he say certain things, you got to take off. He don't know to take off. So the dude got a fiend book and he rubbing himself. Or he rocked up. He like he uncomfortable. He don't know to take off. He don't know to do something. Yeah. So that's it.
Why was it? Because he was young.
He was
He didn't know how
young,
to
but to me, like you don't know when to take off. Like you don't know when to leave when a person's talking about something.
Yeah, that's uncomfortable. Like,
Hello.
you'll be
Like,
like,
and this guy's lying, like, oh yeah, everybody does it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
soon as he would have said that everybody does it, like, what? Bye, see you. I don't got time. You gotta
Right.
go. I gotta go.
So
Like,
you said that you've been to prison before, and I'm not sure we're gonna do a show about your whole life coming up soon. But in the stories that you have in your situation, what would you say about what you just heard right here? Because so some people might believe that a lot of stuff starts off in prison, that we get like a whole new group of people that come out of prison and they come out like kind of bisexual or gay or in a trans and this, that, the other. What is your opinion?
I put it like this. That gentleman there, like, Texas is not like that. I'm just gonna put it like that. Like, Texas is not built like that because they have the PREA Act. PREA Act came in 2007 or 2008. It's Prison Rape Elimination Act. That's what PREA is. And it's really like to help people from like eliminating stuff like that. So like when I came in before PREA and I'm not affiliated. So it's like 3-4 times harder on me because it's like I don't belong to nobody. I don't belong to an organization. So you have to prove your worth. You can't sit in prison and be quiet. You know what I'm saying? It's just real talk. You can't do that. It's like an unspoken rule. Like you have to say something. You have to collaborate with people. You have to network with people that you don't want to network with. But it's like spoken. But for that gentleman right there to be locked up in Louisiana, yeah, they do that type of stuff. This state, but Texas, because I'm telling you, Texas got like a safeguard on it. If anything happen, guess what? A person that got some time, they do not want added time, 5, 10 stack years on top of what they got because they can actually make parole. So they not doing that. And then two, technology in the penitentiary is like crazy. Now I don't
right.
know about nothing else about the other states, but when I was in TDC, like at least 3 out the 5 units I was on was so heavily contraband. And I'm not gonna give myself up like that, but I could pretty much tell you that if like you have a pick, everything you do out here you doing that. Only thing is you can't go home at the end of the day. But at the same time, if you want a girlfriend in there, guess what? You got a girlfriend in there. Believe me, the boss ladies, these lieutenants, these captains, these ranking officers, even the warden. Is she a female?
So the wardens and everything be getting it in with the prisoners?
Man, listen, everybody get it in with prisoners. It's like, why you think so many guys come out and it's like they super cut up, ripped up, they done picked up a tremendous weight. They more health conscious than anything. They look good because guess what? The penitentiary preserve you don't have the wares of the world. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
All you got to do is go in there, do your little job that they give you, and make you a couple of coins and stay out the way. But in TDC, I mean, Texas, they do not pay their inmates. So that's like for a whole different type of conversation.
But
for
don't you
him,
think, yeah, but don't you think when you go into prison, that's your choice? Like he he was just weak. Like he
No,
or he just got gamed into it.
I put like this. When I first came in, they had a law called "fuck bus 50 or catch out." And when I mean,
Explain.
like when you say bust, that means probably what happened to him. But if you say bust the 50, that's like extortion. Basically, real
Oh,
talk. It's like extortion. Every time you go to the store, guess what? We need this percentage of your take. We gonna leave you alone. And
oh,
that's what that is. Or you can catch out. And that means as soon as you get there, don't put your bag down. Just go. You know what I'm saying? Just get off the unit. Go do the best you can to get off the unit. Because your name gonna travel fast. And
wow.
it's a crying shame because the officers, not just inmates, but the officers are like in on it too, because they ain't got to know, oh yeah, he caught out. What he kicked out for? Oh, because it said he tried to play that game with him and he didn't want to go that way. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's just, I was blessed on good units at the time because one of the units I was on, it had a prostitution ring. It was in the feds and everything. It was like the feds was talking about shutting us down, all type of stuff. The state was talking about doing some crazy stuff.
Oh,
And,
so they had a prostitution ring in the
yeah,
prison, and
yeah.
they was selling commissary
No,
for.
They were like with men or prostitution with the transgender.
Yeah,
no.
with
The
men.
prostitution was everywhere. It's like the unit I hit, it was called Beaumont. It was Styles and Beaumont. And at the time they had a female warden. And it was like more women there than men. And it was like you can get a piece of ass for like $50. And these dudes,
where you get $50 from though?
I mean, people hustle. I told you, it's not like everything you have out here is in there, basically.
Right.
To the T.
So you actually really have money in prison?
Yeah, you can get it smuggled in. You can do all type of crazy stuff. But I mean,
wow.
Like, it's like, I put like this. It was like crazy. I put like that.
We're going to do a show about that on its own. But I really want to get into his story and to try to figure out, okay, when it gets into this, because we also going to get into R. Kelly and his situation too. But
I think he just got trapped. That was it. He followed somebody from hometown, and the hometown flipped the switch because he's been messing around. So it was like.
So you think that he probably they like knew that he was soft and they just took advantage of him, or do you think that he was kind of like down for it?
Nah, he just knew he was in there by himself. Anytime you got yourself in there by yourself and you ain't got nobody, no nothing, you become a fish. You become a fish in a pond full of sharks. And
wow.
What you mean by nobody? Like there's like
you
no family, or it's just nobody
like,
inside there.
You don't got nobody inside with you. You don't know nobody.
You're not a part of no gang. You're not a part of no crew.
Nothing.
You know, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
But
He's a lone wolf.
Yeah, but what if you're a lone wolf and you go in there, but you ain't down for none of that stuff? You just gonna fight every day?
Nah, it's like some people, they'll try you and just so they can get it out the way. You know what I'm saying? Because it's really called a heart check. You know what I'm saying? You come in and they might sit like probably 2-3 people that's probably about a size bigger than you, or like if you got a nice little name to yourself out here in the street and they know they can't fight you one-on-one, they gonna send about 2 or 3 of them at you just to check your heart, because if like some racial pop off, they say you better be down, because if you ain't down, you get rolled over.
So Kebron Lee says he said he had protection with the guys he aligned with, but he didn't want to stab someone who tried him, so he lost protection because it would make the group look weak.
Yeah, but see, that's that is the thing. You like if somebody do you wrong,
If someone do you, you got to like go on ahead and put your work in. Otherwise,
you gotta go make an example, but you ain't got to stab nobody. You can
Right,
let
that's
it-
going to be even more longer time in jail. Let's hear what he had to say about this. Let's go.
Were you on any medication?
Not at that time, no. I didn't get the medication until I got to Florence, which was the next spot that I went to.
And you're still 20 years old at this time. Then
By then I turned 21.
Are you 21 years old? So he's throwing you things that I guess you're not picking up on, and you're within the first couple of weeks. You're still new to how Leavenworth works. You're new to
Prison
the system. Prison period. You're new to it. He's the only person you're cleaning.
So Leavenworth, is that like a federal prison? I think it's a federal prison. So interesting.
Into as far as you're talking to these other person.
Now, when we would go to lunch or dinner or to the rec yard, I would be with him. He would introduce me to other people. Hey, this person from Shreveport, this other person here from New Orleans, this person here from California, this person from here. Fine. Hey, how y'all doing? Blah, 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 blah. We go back to the unit. I'm still right with him because I was scared as shit. I didn't know nothing about prison, so I didn't want to be caught off by myself and something happened to me.
Did you ever go on suicide watch?
That was in North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah, he went
That
on
was the
suicide
fourth prison I
watch.
was at.
So what type of mental health medicine did they have you take?
Now, once I got to Florence, they started me on. Now, when I was in CCC first and CDC, they had me on some psychotic meds. But once I got to Leavenworth, I got off of it. I didn't get back on it again until I got to Florence.
Why were you on psychotic meds?
Mostly it started off as a way to kind of deal with the shit that I was going through.
Right.
And some of it would put me to sleep. So it just got me to the point where I was sleep a lot. But like I said, once I got to Leavenworth, I wanted to be more conscious because I wanted to know what was going on around me. So I kind of got myself off of it.
All right. So again, as far as you want to take this, again, I'm not going to have you reenact the whole thing, but as far as you want to take it, the day of this happening.
The first time?
The first time. What can you walk us through
First
as far as
time, the first
what
time.
happened?
So it happened
Like,
more than one time.
How did you not see it coming?
Oh yeah,
If you don't mind me
I've
asking.
seen this.
Because we were just kind of like.
Okay, so
I know the question. Because again, I'd already been hanging out with him most of the day in, day out, sitting in the cell, talking, rapping. I think we had started drinking a little bit because they had hooch. So,
Not hooch, yeah.
Yeah, so we got to drink a little bit, had a little hooch. In his cell, because he had a cell by himself, got to use the bathroom. And once we started using the bathroom, we just came up behind me and just grabbed me and put me on the bed. And
So let me ask. Because he's like you say, he's a country bunker type dude. Are you physically trying to fight this out? Because again, from your 21.
So you're in a cell. You go you're drinking some alcohol. The guy comes behind you and slams you on the bed, and then just takes you from that point. Does that sound?
There's too many holes right there, and I paid this to people's body language. The thing was right here. He got to be in his 30s? How long ago is this video? He got to be in his 40s, right? So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say in his 40s, and you in this. I'm gonna put it like this. He was in his cell. Now you in your cell with your sibling, and y'all drinking.
Right.
And the man, you pull your pants down to pee. Now every day you done pulled your pants down in front of this dude to pee, to shit, whatever. Now, let's just say, I can't be hypothetically correct with this, but I'm just going to throw this out there. The man enjoyed it. Whatever it
Yeah,
was, he got
he
drunk.
wanted it.
But he
You
said
got
the
drunk.
first time. He said this wasn't. It was like multiple times. So
But
this
see,
was the
this
first
right.
time that
But
it
he
happened.
Wanted it.
Thing is, his homeboy was what you call square business. So when you say you square business and you to finesse this guy that's supposed to be at your neighborhood, you finesse him and he get naked. I mean, he ain't say got nigga, but you got your pants pulled down. He pushed you over the bed. You didn't fight off or nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Evidently, you
He
scared of
pushed
him.
his pants down all the way to pee. That don't even sound right.
Listen, it's just crazy. I
That
just
don't
So they don't
sound
even,
right.
they don't take their pants down to pee. Is that some weird stuff going on? That's
As a dude, you don't. You're just,
what? Yeah.
the
What?
pee,
What?
you don't take it all the way down.
But I told you what it was. It's this. There's too many loopholes. There's too many holes in there because
Let's hear some more. We're gonna really examine this. Let's go.
Years old. You're 150.
About as much as I could, to be honest with you. I ain't like I just say, oh yeah, go ahead and do it. No, I tussle a little bit about as much as I could, but again, because how he caught me off guard, coming behind me, and he put it off as a way to kind of deal with the shit that I was going through.
Right.
And some of it would put me to sleep. So it just got me to the point where I was sleep a lot. But like I say, once I got to Leavenworth, I wanted to be more conscious because I wanted to know what was going on around me. So I kind of got myself off of it.
Well, be more conscious, but you're drinking hooch. Come on now. What are we doing here? Which one is it?
no, he was on site medication.
As far as you want to take this again,
No, he said that when he got to Leavenworth, he stopped taking the psych meds, but then he said that the guy that did it to him gave him some hooch, some alcohol.
Yeah.
That's how he got took it. Let's
I'm
look.
not gonna have you reenact the whole thing, but as far as you want to take it, the day of this happening,
the first time.
What can you walk us
The first time. So it happened more than once. Like what the fuck? So
to as far as what happened? Like how did you not see it coming? If you don't mind me asking.
Because we were just kind of like,
what? Okay, so
I know the question. Because again, I'd already been hanging out with him
He's
most of the
seen that
day in, day
coming.
out.
He's seen it
sitting in the
coming. He
cell,
wanted that. He wanted that.
talking, rapping. I think we had started drinking a little bit.
Drinking.
Because they had hooch.
Right. So he said he wanted to be conscious. So why would so you don't want to be unconscious off the psych meds, but you'll be unconscious off a lot of time that hooch, they be throwing psych meds into the hooch. So what do you mean? Like you
hooch.
So
Not hooch, yeah.
Yeah, so we got to drink a little bit, had a little hooch. In his cell, because he had a cell by himself, got to use the bathroom. And once we started using the bathroom, we just came up behind me, just grabbed me and put me on the bed. And
so let me ask. Yeah, because he's like you say, he's a country bumpkin type dude. Are you physically trying to fight this out? Because again, from you're 21 years old, you're 150.
About as much as I could, to be honest with you. I ain't like I just say, oh yeah, go ahead and do it. No, I tussle a little bit about as much as I could, but again, because how he caught me off guard, coming behind me, and he was a bigger guy,
So mind you, and this is all hindsight now, he'd been plotting this, or at least let's say he didn't plot it, but he'd been testing you and then he got you to this point.
So he just
You feel at the
gave
moment
in,
that
like right away.
like,
Come on.
what do you feel was going
Come
through his
on.
head? Like, oh, I've been
Man, you stupid as hell. You funny. So he just gave
Come on.
in.
Because he said I tried to fight him, just a little bit, and then, I just let him do what he wanted to do. Come on.
Wilson.
That's fighting for your life right there, boy.
Put like this. I put like this. Dude bigger than me, right? I'm going to jail. I'm going to lockup.
Right. The whole whatever. It ain't gonna be the booty hole. It's gonna be the whole down under.
I've used everything in that cell to get him.
Yeah, because that's taking your manhood away. If you wasn't down with it, you would have fought to the death.
But you already see he was a sacrificial lamb anyway.
Yeah.
He was a sacrificial lamb anyway. Ain't nobody mess with him because he was already up under somebody's wing.
Yep.
So,
And then if somebody coming to you like, well, I mean, everybody does it. Like right there, he should have left him alone. Like right from the jump. Like,
Moment he started talking that bullshit, he should have
I
been
ain't
like,
down.
"No, all
I
right,
ain't
cool.
down for that. I don't know what the
Find
fuck
some
you
new
talking
friends
about.
with it when they get to talking like that. Like, what the hell? What the hell? It said that nigga was getting hurt for real. What nigga he was against was on that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what that means, but let's okay, let's go. And we're gonna listen a little bit more of this. We're gonna get into what's going on with R. Kelly and then get into the Diddy trial. But I just wanted to see what was really going on with this. Let's go.
waiting to do this, or this is just in the moment. This is just what it is, man. Like, do you go through? Because mind you, we're gonna get to it, but you were probably trying to get commission to do some harm back to this man. But do you feel like he was like, this man? Do you feel guilty? Like, man, I led this dude into this situation to make this happen. Do you feel like any of that was your fault, or you feel like, man, he just really took advantage, and I need to do some harm to this man?
I felt like he took advantage all the way up until I need to do some harm, because after everything was over with, I just kind of wanted everything to be over with. And then I was hoping he didn't tell nobody. I was hoping nothing ever came out of it. I just stopped hanging around him, but I don't really know how everybody started finding out, but I think he.
How do you stop hanging around him? This is not your cell? So the guy was just in the cell and raped him, and then how do you stop? You can't stop hanging around a person if it's not even his cellmate that did this to him. This is a person that he was talking to, friends with. Where was his cellmate? What's really?
I don't know the way it was. He could have said, "Oh yeah, I fucked him," and it was always how you say, my story against his story. So because it was my story against his story, the only way everybody felt like it was able to be settled was got to do something to him. So it was either you do something to him or we do something to you. And
after this happened, like, what was going through your mind? Were you hurt? Were you like, did you think like, can you just kind of walk us through like what goes through a man's mind when something like this happens?
Yeah, my asshole was hurt.
Normally people get put in what's it called? The infirmary. Did you seek to go?
I didn't tell nobody. I really I know you all have heard plenty of stories about women out here that get raped.
Right.
And how after it happens, even if they know the person, somebody that they've known for a long time, they still don't want nobody to know. They still don't want it to, they just want it to be an isolated incident. And that's kind of what I was going to do. Right. It happened. It was over with. And I was just like, man, like I said, I just stopped hanging out with the dude. I started going around him, stayed in my unit. I would still come out and watch TV and whatnot.
So I guess Negro Ralph said he must have watched this before. He said the Crips stabbed him because he wouldn't kill his rapist.
Yeah, that's what happened when you gang affiliated.
Oh.
But I'm gonna tell you like this: a lot of the gang affiliated dudes be like that. So it's like it's a hierarchy. That's what I would like to say to it. The higher you up the food chain, the more you get away with. Straight up, because a lot of those dudes is in there doing that type of stuff. They OGs, they big homies, whatever. You think a person for all that time, they ain't coming home no time soon, 30, 40 years. They got to do mandatory. If they ain't messing with
I
no
think he
woman,
got like a mandatory 20 or 25 for robbing a bank. So he was already in there for a long time. So yeah, they probably wanted to try to get him caught up. So I'm like, okay, go ahead and do this, whatever. Who knows? I don't know.
But I'm gonna tell you like this. Like myself, you got a bunch of dudes that did a lot of time never ever messed around. And it was just some dudes, like, I put like this, like I tell y'all, technology is something. So when you think a person ain't got it, they got it. You know what I'm saying? And like we used to watch porn in there. So it's like, it's not like, cause we used to have magazines. They took them out. So it's like.
So they give like inmates porn to watch and then expect them.
Nah, they don't give it to us. It's like if you have let's say a phone. I'm just gonna be real. You've had phone in there. And it's like, yeah, they dudes watch porn if you got a phone in there. But it's like, other than that, it's like right now they have tablets. So you don't know what they watching in there. You know what I'm saying? But everybody ain't doing that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna be real with you. It's penitentiaries and states that still carry on like that. But 9 times 10 is too, with the capital the way it is and the way stuff moves in there, it's easy to get a woman to just have sex with you. Pay a woman to have sex. This dudes in there having babies behind the walls, real talk. So it's like whole families. So it's not like certain states still got conjugal visits. So you just can't look at everything and go off of a couple of people. You really have to like literally go do a lot of research on it.
He was not. He was not in the States. He was in the feds. So I don't think they have conjugal. And
no, they got conjugal in the feds.
They do.
They got them in the feds. It's just certain states, like they conjugal visits is like a little trailer on the side of the unit or something, or a little. They have it. Believe me, they have it. The feds do. State level, some don't, some do.
Negro Rap says now you need a cell phone or they give you base to drink. What is base? Base to drink?
That's like a tablet. See, like if you go on face, like a different app like YouTube or Snapchat or something like that, or Instagram, you will always see reels with dudes, a bunch of dudes in a cell because they got cell phones where they or a tablet. So it's like the times have changed. I feel like
Like they have to do a little bit more because they can't like have a bunch of like horny dudes up in there. He says base is to stop erection or testosterone. Oh,
That goes in their food.
Oh, so base is like a drink that you drink that they give it to you to stop erection or testosterone. So maybe that might be it's jail Kool-Aid. So they give you that. And you know what? I actually knew a guy that was in jail for in prison for a long time, and they were giving all the prisoners that, and when he got out, he had like a narcolepsy. Like he would just fall asleep. It was weird. Like you'd be talking to him, he'd just fall asleep. So whatever that was, that whatever, I don't know if it still was affecting him. I think it's a drink. The drink looks like Kool-Aid. So let's go back into this, and then we're gonna get into a little bit more of this, and then go into R. Kelly. I'm trying to get Mel to come up here, so give me a second with this. I'll play a little more, and then you tell me.
But I would not go nowhere where he was in.
Did he try you again? Did he ever try to make?
I've never. Well, he would send word through other people that we knew, like from New Orleans, that was in my unit. Hey, tell. At that point, it was hey, tell Red to come on over here and talk to me. And
so I have to ask, how long did it take you to, one, physically recover, two, mentally recover, in regards to just getting back to normal?
Physically, probably, I don't know. I don't even know the time frame, but mentally, I mean, I think mentally deep down, I still have maybe some issues. Even at one point, once I got to North Carolina, I started going to therapy. I started seeing a therapist, and for 10 years, I was in and out of therapy. And most of that was because of that, and to just learn about me in general, about my childhood, about me, why I was the way I was, and then how to continue to survive in prison from that point.
Like Baba Shaka was saying, technically, once word gets around that this happened, there should have been some type of form of either retaliation. Again, you already kept it solid. Like there should have been somebody in your corner.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Either they came to me. I said they because it was Louisiana people and California people, because I was hanging around a lot of Crips too, and so it was like a collective. They was like, hey, if you're going to continue to hang around us and be with us, then you got to do something. Either if you don't do something, then we do something to you, because we can't have that, basically that blemish on our car, on our car, so to speak. Yeah. And so they felt like if I didn't do something, they do something to me. So
they put a blade in your hand. They put a knife in your hand.
Yep. It was an ice pick.
An ice pick. Who? And you don't gotta say no names, but as far as who within the group gave you that ice pick, was it somebody that's respected or just somebody that just
somebody that I guess they felt that I respected them because that was somebody I was talking to on a daily basis.
That's it.
Because it was somebody more around my age.
I ain't gonna lie, for them to even get you an ice pick, that means they're serious about it. But what was it for you that made you not go through with?
I ain't got the heart for that.
And this is about how the ice pick getting put in your hand, about how many days or weeks or months after that this situation happened?
About a month.
About a month. So in a month, it wasn't in your heart to like put again, because we were talking, people that listen to this are just normal people that live a 9 to 5 or probably haven't lived that kind of life yet. To take a blade and say, let me a month later, not saying for no reason, but let me build it up in my heart to go either try to end this man, because you got to end this man. You can't just stab him and intend to let me scratch his leg.
Yeah, because in instances like that, it's gonna be a to death situation.
Yeah,
because the only way you survive something like that is if once it starts, the police are kind of like right there to break it up.
Yeah.
But other than that, if it's done off in the corner somewhere and the police can't get there, one of y'all gonna die. One of us would have probably been me because I was a smaller one.
Was there any ounce in you?
So will we say that this still was I mean, can we understand where he came from?
You're supposed to whack him. I ain't waiting no month. Heck, I ain't waiting 2 days. Especially if somebody I know and I talk to on a regular, and you did this to me, I'm gonna get you. I'm stalking you. I'm gonna get you. I know your every move. I know your everything about you. I know it right then and there. I'm observing.
I agree. But he should have went ham right there in the cell. Soon as he came up to him, he should have went crazy.
Man,
went nuts.
that dude push you over the bed, you supposed to already been swinging elbow, fist, everything. And I'm not
Everything.
supposed to take
And,
no picture.
and then you think that people probably would have came to his aid? Like, no, bro.
Nah, they ain't gonna come to his aid. People gotta stay, they gonna mind their business. Unless they just, like he said, he was hanging with the Crips. So if he was hanging with the Crips, and the Crips knew exactly who and what this dude was, and he did it to you, guess what? They already knew that off the muscle that you was weak. You was the weakling. So guess what? It's either you're gonna stab this dude, we're gonna stab you, or you're gonna pay. It's just straight up.
Wow.
Right.
So you putting the three situations, three mind-boggling situations all at one time. Do you honestly think any man that don't like, I feel like this first law of life is self-preservation. So if I'm like him and I'm just going ahead and make everything moving. Because hey, y'all never put my life in danger for me just hanging with him, and then he
But
do
I
that
guess
to
maybe he was afraid of my 20-year sentence goes into a life sentence. That's what now you'll be doing life, and that's on your
that's why they got the laws set the way they got them set now. Because guess what? If you go in there and rape somebody right now, guess what? They got a stick that they gonna give you. They gonna go inside you, get that whatever that dude, that semen, whatever he left inside you. They gonna take pictures, all that. So if you want the people that bruise easy, guess what? When they come to the prison
A
act
rape
thing,
kit.
yeah, shoot. That's if you're gonna play it safe, but like he say, he's affiliated. So if he's affiliated, you walking around affiliated, guess what? You got to put on because there's a stain on them.
All right, what's going on with R. Kelly?
All right, let's go with this.
News out of North Carolina about singer R. Kelly. The artist, whose legal name is Robert Sylvester Kelly, was rushed to the hospital last week after allegedly overdosing on sleep and anxiety medications given to him by prison staff. In court documents, lawyers for the singer allege that staffers at the federal prison are trying to kill him. He is serving a 20-year sentence after being convicted of racketeering and sex trafficking in 2021.
Joining us now, NBC's Shaquille Brewster with the latest. So, Shaq, what specifically are R. Kelly's lawyers alleging here?
Hi there. Well, you listed that big claim from his team, essentially that prison officials are trying to kill him in order to cover up misconduct. And this really all goes back to filing an emergency motion from his team last week in which they asked the judge to release him from prison and move him to home confinement. It was in that document where they had a declaration from an inmate who signed a statement saying that the official transferred him to Kelly's prison with instruction to kill the singer who is behind bars again on those sex-related crimes. In a filing this morning, R. Kelly's team released a statement or had a line in there that said, now prison officials have overdosed Mr. Kelly on medications and nearly killed him 2 days after he made those allegations public. So they are trying to get a judge to release him and move him to home confinement. And that's part of the claim and part of the argument that they're using to this judge, saying that something happened as recently as this past week.
And how is the other side, the prosecutors in this case, how are they responding?
Yeah, from the original documents and from that original motion, they pushed back fairly aggressively, calling the claims deeply unserious and theatrical, a fanciful conspiracy. It said it makes a mockery of the harm suffered by Kelly's victims. I want to read a line from their reply motion to some of those original claims in which they say Kelly refuses to accept responsibility for years of sexually abusing children and is using this court's docket to merely promote himself, despite there being no legal basis to be before this court. They're also making a legal argument that essentially the court that Kelly's team filed this emergency motion in front of, they don't have jurisdiction to do anything in North Carolina where Kelly is being held.
All right, Shaq Brewster with the latest. Thank you.
So, I mean, R. Kelly, somebody was trying to kill him. I mean, I don't know.
Can I be real with you?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna be real with you. I believe it. No, I believe it. is because it's a lot of stuff that's been uncovered. There's like skeletons in a lot of people's closets. And if people paid attention, that they trying to knock down every somebody that got some type of stroke. Bill Cosby. Now you got R. Kelly. You got Tory Lane. You got a bunch of people that's like got a little clout. And yeah, okay, we take them down. We're here to take them down. They've been doing it for years, but guess what? I tell people it's a secret council behind a whole bunch of this stuff. There's a whole new world order that's just been controlling stuff behind the scenes. Look at Diddy. And that's crazy. But R. Kelly went in for the same thing Diddy was doing. And the thing about it, R. Kelly wasn't doping nobody.
No, he wasn't, but he was with
R. Kelly wasn't
underage.
doping nobody. R. Kelly was saying, here, I'm going to throw this money at you. Your family going to buy into it, and there it go. Now, all
But
that,
they were underage, though. That was the difference. That's the difference, right?
I know that, but I'm saying, look, I'm throwing money at your family, so y'all know what type of game this supposed to be. It's always the greed of money. Money.
Oh yeah.
Money makes the world go around, but at the same time, money is the root of all evil. So if you
That's
know how,
what I always want to know, why the parents of the girls never got in trouble. Because why would you take your daughter to a concert and then let her go off with R. Kelly? And
Yes.
she's like 15, 16.
put like
And
this,
he's a grown ass man.
you got to think about it. It's just crazy. It's people with too much power. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people, a lot of like with that type of money, that type of prestige. Guess what? They feel like they invincible. Some do. Some know the
Yep.
repercussions. They can't get out the way. And just like, guess what? I guarantee you, R. Kelly done been to a Diddy party, couple of Diddy parties.
Oh
Look who.
yeah.
So you got to think about that industry. It's crazy.
So hold on. I just gotta do this real quick.
I am blessed to make money, money making money, money making money, money making money, money making money, manifest making money, money making money, money making money, money making money. I ain't stressed, making money, money making money, money making money, money making money. Gratitude is my attitude. I'm making money moves. Jewelry in the safe, piggy bank on full. And I'm living life abundant. I'm making money fast. I'm a money making magnet, making cold hard cash. I'm making money. Oh, I am blessed.
Shouts out to Negro Ralph. What he said was his statement was, man, prison is a place of war, lust, and capitalism. Shouts out. Thank you for your $2 super chat. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. And anyone else, please feel free to support this channel by the super chats. We need our super chats because this keeps the channel going. It keeps us talking about these things. Shouts out. Thank you so much, Negro Ralph. All right, let's get back into it. All right. So so you're saying, so do you think that a lot of this stuff is happening because of like the type of a crime that R. Kelly did, like that they don't respect it, so therefore they're trying to kill him?
But he's been in there for like a couple of years, hasn't he?
Man, R. Kelly been up under security. If people know about people in penitentiary that's high profile and got money, and they've been put in population instead of safe prison or anything like that, safe people, they are literally like, people will get paid just to protect, just straight up. The hardest criminals, or not even the hardest criminals, it's just the ones that be like, okay, well, I like your music, I jammed your music. You R. Kelly, you got that money, so guess what? I'm gonna protect you while you in here. Me and my people. All we want is a small percentage. And the small percentage might not be something like breathtaking. Might just be something to get them over the hump. Or some people do it just out of love. You got people in there that just little like I talk to this man every day. I'm in the cell with him. I'm walking the corridor with him, walking the child, whatever. But it's like this. With that type of money and you locked up, a lot of people gonna protect you. You know what I'm saying? Now you might got some enemies like Yellow Beezy. He got enemies. So while he locked up in there, guess what? It's not like he's not protected, but then too at the same time, we gotta watch for them hitters because guess what? A lot of people don't like him. You know what I'm saying? Now R. Kelly
Right.
song R&B music, and it's a difference. It's a hell of a difference because you doing what normal dudes would do if they had that type of money, that type of swag going, where women just literally throw their pennies off at you while you singing. So you gotta, they gonna protect. I believe like this, like the Tory Lanez too. People would literally kill you or trying to kill you just to keep you quiet because somebody else done paid them to do it.
Right.
So R. Kelly is not outside the realm when he said people trying to kill him. Yeah, sometimes it could be a publicity stunt, but it's not because guess what? They probably trying to off him because he know a lot of stuff, and he know
Right.
who is who. He know what is what because it was an article on R. Kelly when he was saying before he was when Diddy was first getting hit. He was like, "Hey man, look, I know stuff. I was trying to get out, but how you gonna stop a person from trying to get out when you got his hand in a cookie jar? You got him dead to the wrong. So it's like, you better keep doing what you're doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's a
So,
lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff, like a lot of skeletons that need to be like released because
but I thought that like in prison, like people don't like child molesters, so they try to kill them anyway.
I put it like this: there's more child molesters in prison, really in Texas, than there is anything else. And the crazy thing about it is that they get the lesser time, or they get probation.
Right.
So it's like when they do
The whole like myth that they like, if they find out you're a child molester or whatever, that
you got some farms, they'll go hard on it.
they call them farms.
But like that's what we call them, farms. Like because they like old plantations. You everything in TDC is done by you. Clothes, shoes. Only thing is Bob Barker is making the capital because
Oh yeah.
he owns the whole penitentiary. So it's like when you have
I thought Bob Barker owned all the clothing and the shoes.
The Price is Right, he's over everything.
Wait,
Everything.
Bob Barker in Texas owns the prisons in Texas.
That's everywhere.
Price is
Every
Right
prison.
everywhere. All the prisons. What? Not just state prisons or like just that's crazy. That is crazy. Is it? I don't know what. What? So the person that made The Price is Right owns all of the prisons.
He has a
Not
whole
the prison.
he
It's
has
the prison gear, isn't it?
he owns a lot of prisons, but he has everything that has to does with clothes, shoes, everything like that. That's Bob Barker. You're gonna always see a BB on the thing.
What?
Yeah.
So I was watching The Price is Right back in the day. Who would have known that he was instrumental in like the prison industry?
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna do some research into that.
But that's big money. That's big money.
That man
'Cause you
been
gotta
doing
think he have contracts with each prison to fund them with clothing.
What? I didn't know that. That's some new shit right there. So you're saying even so that this whole thing where they say, well, if you get caught like that you've done anything to a child or a woman, that they're gonna attack you in prison or hurt you is false.
No, they will. It's just somebody has to put you out there, or you got to put yourself out there. But then too, have to do like this. People say child molest. It's a difference between molestation and rape, because rape is you not even fighting. You know what I'm saying? You're not even giving. You struggling. Like he said, he was struggling, and he said he
Right.
got raped. No, dude, you just got molested. Dude pushed you
Right.
over. You went with it, go on ahead to get it over with, but guess what? It still played a bigger part of your brain. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Other than that, it's like
But so what's the difference between the child molestation and the rape? The child does not know what the hell.
I put like this.
It's
I had a
child.
best friend. I had a best friend. His last name is Perkins. His first name is Kendrick. And he got hit with statutory rape. He was a senior in high school. And his girlfriend was a freshman. Her mom and dad used to let the man sleep at her house. Everything. Like he can go home, come back with clothes, and stay. Now, when she got pregnant, guess what? They pressed charges. They gave him statutory rape.
For how
They
long? How many
They
years?
gave him 15 years for it.
What?
15 years?
Oh my God.
Oh, that's not right.
But people don't
So I
understand.
think so, but I think in the R. Kelly case, when he's like 30 years old and it's a 13-year-old or Aaliyah, where he was married to her and she was like 14, 15, 16, and they make the songs "Age Ain't Nothing But a Number," that is kind of wild. So you don't think that people you think they're more enamored by his status than the actual offense that he got locked up for? And so therefore they wouldn't try to kill him? Because it sounds like to me that they've been trying to kill him the whole time.
They try to kill him to keep him from talking. He know too much. That's just plain simple. A person that knows a lot and indulges in a underworld like that, and guess what? They have a person that's of interest that's like lined up to get him, and he know everything and clearly can clear his name or get some time knocked off of him. He gonna tell.
Oh,
Nine times
yeah.
he gonna tell.
Oh, yeah.
All you gotta do is look at Big Meech. That's all I tell people. Look at Big Meech. You had a life sentence, and look where you're at. You're at home. So,
Yeah,
Andy was in a-
right. That's crazy, right? So, and he is at home now.
but it's like,
But I thought Big Meech got parole.
yeah, he got parole. He at home. But I'm saying,
But after 20 years, but he had 20 years, and then he go to the parole board, right?
it depends on what your state is. Like Texas, they aggravated crimes is 50%, unless they drop it. And 9 times out of 10, if you do 50%, you're not gonna make your first parole unless you call a case. You have to catch some type of case, because the first parole come up and they'll tell you straight up, hey man, you manipulated the system. Even though you ain't did nothing the whole time you're down there, they'll say you manipulating the system, and they'll give you a year or two to think about it. That's just TDC.
Wow.
Yeah, you know what? When we do this, so here's the thing. So now we have a situation with Diddy, right? They're saying Diddy probably won't testify. His defense says his case could be less than 2 days. So what is the odds that you have a defense situation, and they're not even defending you really? I'm like, okay, so is this whole thing because they're like, you know what, we're not going to win this, so we're just going to do an appeal? Let's go into
case claiming they provided inconsistent information.
News 4's Erica Byfield live.
Let me start.
The Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking trial, and today a judge dismissed a juror in the case claiming they provided inconsistent information.
News 4's Erica Byfield live in Lower Manhattan with the details of this pretty extraordinary day in court. Erica.
It really was today. So much was happening on the front of the jury. So the judge removed that juror, juror number 6, first thing this morning after saying that he found that that juror was not truthful. But then we learned that's not that's not the end of it, because there's even more jury problems. A shakeup in the jury on day 24 of Sean Combs' federal sex trafficking trial. The judge announcing that juror 6, a 41-year-old black man, was not truthful about his residence. He told the court that he lived in the Bronx when he actually resides in New Jersey. He was dismissed and replaced with a 57-year-old accountant from Westchester County. Meanwhile, concerns have also emerged with another male juror who allegedly discussed the case with a colleague. He was questioned last week by the judge and handed over his phone. The judge holding off on deciding whether he'll stay. Now, in its 6th week, the trial has shifted to examining key evidence. Exhibit staffers from the U.S. Attorney's Office believe will help the jury navigate the sea of evidence. The visual aids link together the phone calls, text messages, photos, videos, audio messages that are central to the government's case against Combs. Combs is charged with 5 counts, accused of racketeering and sex trafficking. Prosecutors say that he used his power, wealth, and staff to break the law. Combs has pleaded not guilty. One chart highlighted by prosecutors showed off how Combs and others set up those so-called freak-offs, gathering supplies, baby oil, candles, arranged hotel stays, communicated with male escorts, got stacks of cash, and allegedly bought drugs. In one exchange between Cassie Ventura and a male escort, it reads, "I also know the rules, dress casual and bring baby oil." Cassie responded, "Casual, yes. No oil," smiley face. Or when one of Combs' security guards supposedly texted about paying for drugs, saying $4,800 for trees should be enough for 4 weeks. The jury also reviewing charts associated with those sexual scenes between Combs, a male escort, and either Cassie Ventura or a woman who testified with the name Jane. Here, a prosecutor showed flight records, hotel information, text messages, and graphic videos. When those videos played, the court turned off all the public screens and gave the jury headphones to watch several freak-off clips. So I counted it up. In the end, the jury ended up seeing today a little less than 3 minutes of those freak-off videos. Again, everybody in the public gallery could not see any of those. We did find out that another one of Sean Combs' assistants is expected to take the stand tomorrow. That person will also get immunity to speak to the jury. And then we also learned this, that the prosecution could rest its case on Wednesday. Erica Byfield, News 4, New York.
All right. Well, I mean,
it's so important to have training.
so what do y'all think? I mean, are you on here? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry, guys. So what do y'all think about that?
No, what
Well,
do you
they-
think about the case, like all together? I just want to know from your perspective, because I feel like it's a weak RICO case, and it's just like with these jurors getting off of here. Okay, the first juror lied, you know, where he lived or whatever. The second one told a colleague, was talking about the case. But did you know every last one of them jurors go home every day? They go home every day. They're not staying in like a secret location, like a hotel or something, to where they're cut off of the media, everything. They go home every day. So what do y'all think about that? I mean, automatically, you know, they watching TV. You know, they on their phone as soon as they leave.
I wanted to welcome Mel to the chat. Shouts out to Mel. Thank you so much for taking your time out. You know, he's been at the trial this whole time. We just went over the whole thing about the fact that the defense is saying that there might only be 2 witnesses, and on top of that, what's the other thing? Is that what was the other thing that it said? I'm sorry, my brain is going blank.
Are you talking to me or someone else?
Bet. What is that? The thing that we just watched. What did it just say?
They were just talking about how no, they didn't never said that the defense might only have like 2 days or whatever. Don't
They're more
have
talking about the
that
juror. I'm
many
sorry.
witnesses. Oh, they was talking about juror number 6, which was a 41-year-old black male. His address, they seen an inconsistency because he said he lived in the Bronx, but he lives in New Jersey. So that right there, I think that should have been ironed out like way before. To me, they should have been knew that
That
along
sounds like
when
a
they picked
setup.
the
It sounds like a
jury.
setup, don't it?
But juror number 7, they just brought that up to where they leaked. I guess they were talking to a colleague about, the trial or whatever. But this is what I was saying. The jury goes home every day. Like, I mean, they're going home. They're not at like a hotel. Please tell me if I'm wrong, Mel. How are you today?
I'm okay. Quite well, thank you. The jury is not sequestered, so you are correct.
So that right there is like they're watching TV, they're watching podcasts, they're watching YouTube, they're watching everything. Because who is policing them at their house? Nobody. Unless somebody snitches on them from their home. Or they snitch on themselves.
So when you're there, I mean, what are you seeing that because the news is reporting one thing? What are you seeing in this whole situation? Because I'm also seeing that the defense only has like 2 witnesses, and that P Diddy might not actually I mean, you probably can't tell us this if you even know it, but what do you see? Just tell us what you're seeing in these kind of like last days of the trial. What are you seeing?
Oh, okay. Well, basically, I'm just trying to capture your question. Were you asking about? Can you just define a little bit better? I'm sorry.
I know you just got off the train, so I'm like, it's so many questions, right? So the first question is that okay? When right now you have the first situation with the jury. There was one jury member removed. They put
Right.
another member there. The other jury member, they said that he's in question. So it seems like now that this case is kind of winding up, defense does not even have any witnesses they're going to really bring to the table. Like maybe 1 or 2. Do you think this is like the judge? Is the judge kind of like now at the end of the thing trying to say stuff about the jury?
No, I don't think
Yeah.
so. If I'm understanding you correctly, I think I don't think the judge has any contention. I'm hearing the echo.
No,
See
go ahead.
here.
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, that's you. Okay. All right. So I don't think the judge has any issue with the jury per se. It did come out today in court that the judge is furious with, I think, either the prosecutors or the defense team because some information was leaked out last Friday, I believe, that should not have been leaked. And so it's going to be escalated. And from what I understand, the judge is going to take them to the MAC. So that should be very interesting. On top of that, it did come out that additional juror has a problem. They did not tell us what it is. But again, today at the end of court, the judge had everyone leave because they had to talk about a very private matter. And it seems like there's more drama surrounding this case. As most people would say in common vernacular, this is messy, a messy situation. So that's basically what's happened at this point. But you want me to just rock out a little bit and tell you what's
Hey,
happening?
go ahead and rock out. Yeah, just rock out.
All right, so just let me do my thing for a few minutes, and then you guys can just ask me the questions, all right? All right, so we're in choppy waters right now. The last couple of days. So basically with this trial, you've had the witnesses come in, you had the victims come in, and they tell different stories, but very bad, very incriminating. I know that the media is saying, well, this, and that, but at the end of the day, they all have the same ring of truth amongst themselves. In fact, Jane explained that when she read Cassie's lawsuit, it was almost like looking at her life. That's how close it was, because there was a certain pattern that was with Diddy freak-offs that really didn't change. Cassie started some 10 years or more ago. Jane gets introduced around 2021, and she's describing the things that we actually heard Cassie come into court and say. Okay? So then the question comes up. Now, this is my question. All of the women, we could say, like the defense has painted the picture, they have some motive about money. They all seem to be suing him in some way. They have gotten money out of him, even the ones that work for him. So you could come to that conclusion. It could cloud the water. So what I said was, if you bring in Christina Coram or Uncle Paulie, D-Rock, Rue, any of the guys who were working closely with Diddy as his security guards, if you put them on the stand, then they solidify their case. Well, we already know who the final witnesses are for the prosecution. And guess what? None of these individuals are on the list. So that would have tightened their case. They haven't brought these people on. So that's very concerning. But for the last 2 days, I can see why they didn't even bother bringing them on, because they brought in these witnesses from the government who actually helped put together, these agents helped put together all the emails, the bank statements, American Express credit cards, hotel reservations, hotel invoices, and the list goes on and on. And so the first day of the week, I believe, it was Monday. We started court, Monday this week. The agents came in and they show you how basically, I mean, it's so fascinating. They'll have a chart. The chart tells you people, places, and things. So basically it's set up according to meetings. And so these meetings would be a freak off, essentially, some of them. And in one column, it would tell you who was in the room. So the point of contention would be this guy named Jules. He was present at the time that Diddy beat Cassie in the room, in the hotel, with the whole CNN video. So in this particular setting, you have Diddy, Jules, and Cassie. And then they show you the airplane tickets. And then they show you the text messages. I mean, going back and forth that very day, what they said after they left out of the room. So they have everything airtight. You don't need KK. You don't need D-Rock, because they have all these transcripts like you wouldn't imagine. And I often tell my subscribers, they have this program or software that they use called Celebrite. And that Celebrite, they don't need your cell phone. Forget your cell phone. You could throw it in the river. They can pull up all of your cell phone messages, text messages rather, for the last 20, 30 years, easy. I mean, it's like, it's just devastating how much
there's an app called Celebrate where they can like pull up your stuff.
Listen, you better pay attention to what I'm telling you right now.
Oh my God.
That Celebrate, they don't need anything. They don't need you. You could be dead and they can go there and pull up all your cell phones from your old cell phone, your messages with your ex-wife, your current wife, whatever, your side chick, your main chick, your third chick, all that is on the table. They pull it. And so, but not only that, we also learned like the hotels. I think it was this morning, she brought out how up to 10 years, they usually keep your records for when you're staying in these hotels. And even though Diddy had his alias, which was Frank Black, Frank White, it didn't matter because they even have the breakdown, have all of that on file too. So there's no getting away from it at all. You might as well go ahead and knock it off because it's very serious.
I'm in the back chat talking to Calvin. He says he knows about Celebrate. So anybody here, like if you're doing some wild stuff, there is an app called Celebrate. and the lawyers know about this app and it's a real thing, you guys be careful what you say on these phones, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah, so even if
Even if
it's
you get a new phone, they could go back
oh,
even.
forget your phone. They don't need your phone.
What?
Forget your phone. They don't need your phone. The phone is a waste of time. When the feds come for you, listen, let me tell you something. We're in dangerous waters right now, and Calvin's going to appreciate this. What I saw and what I heard today in court, quite frankly, is devastating. And, I don't see a way around it. Let me tell you what they did. So all this time we've been hearing, oh, there's nothing here, just nothing burger, like the Trump supporters say. They're showing that Diddy was using his company vehicles. Calvin's going to flip about this. He was using his company vehicles to pick up these escorts and move them around. And also, his chief of staff is Christina Coram, or also known as KK. She was the problem solver. She would be, you need some baby oil. She's the one that runs his enterprises, right? And when they brought in the accountant, I think his name was Derek Ferguson, he actually broke down the corporations. And one of the corporations, I think the name of it was Combs Enterprises. And that's the way that the government has framed his operation as an enterprise. So now, the last 2 days, we've been hit heavy with nothing but all the documentation of how this enterprise was basically getting involved, getting their hands dirty when it came to the crime. Let me explain this, and then I'll take on some questions, right? Let me show you how crazy the government can get.
Hold on real quick. I want Calvin just came up. He's here. So
not Calvin. Don't tell
he
me Calvin
came
came
up.
back in. Oh my goodness. Clear the room.
Yeah, wait.
now.
Go a little bit back about how they did that.
Oh
That's
my goodness.
crazy. That's
Don't tell me Calvin is in the building. This
Yes,
is
I'm in the Calvin building. I'm ready to roll. Yes.
Right.
Shouts
So
out to
Calvin, let me tell you what happened today, man. I know you are a sharp man and you're a good criminal defense attorney, but I don't know if you have something for what I saw today. I don't think anybody do. What they did, Calvin, they took the day. I just got to tell you, I'm going to frame it for you and let you rock out. They took that day that she's in the hotel. She's coming down the hallway. Number one, we knew that this was a freak off because Cassie came on the stand. She says, listen, I was having this freak off. I did something wrong. Did it punch me in the eye, gave me a black eye. When he turned his back to go use the bathroom or go hop in the shower, I made a run for it. So that's when you see her coming down the hallway. She starts to put her shoes on. He comes and he beats her. The government show you the text messages prior to that freak off. They show you the text messages for the rest of the day, bro. And not only that, they show you how they flew Jules from JFK to LAX, sex worker across state lines, brother. This is what they showed today. They showed Diddy paid for some with cash. They showed that he paid the bill with his American Express card. They show there's some video metadata that has this guy Jules walking through the hotel, bro, coming for this freak off. After the freak off occurs, then you have all the messages going back from Diddy to Jules to Cassie. Get out of the hotel. Diddy's trying to say that he's going to get arrested. He's trying to get Cassie to come back. They show you all those exchanges. But lo and behold, guess what they show?
Right.
They then show the guy, the Spanish-looking guy, Eddie Garcia, and how that whole thing, and then they bring in Christina Coram, and she's trying to get him to give up the videos and get rid of the videos. They have all of the exchange about when Diddy says, I want your driver's license if we're going to do this deal, and I'm going to pay you $50,000 to make the videos go away. They show it all in one day, brother.
And I'm going to tell you what happens. What they have, Cellbrite is a program that they use basically to clean cell phones up, which means any messages you think you deleted, there's still data in your phone to be able to pull that information. And what people don't know, the federal government, they can get that Cellbrite information quick. And what they do is even if you don't give them the code to your phone, they stick your phone on this machine and it runs passcodes repeatedly until it comes up to open your phone until it takes the data off. This thing can run so many passcodes, it can take up to 2 years to open your phone. But as long as they have your phone, they're gonna open it up. And so this machine, it runs, zillions of damn passcodes to open your phone up. Because sometimes they take those phones and can't open them up. Cellbrite has a program to pull all of the different information, all of the data out. And sometimes, like I said, some people may think, well, they should have charged Diddy a long time ago, this, and that. There's sometimes where it takes that machine so long to open the phone. I had a situation, no doubt. I had a murder case, capital murder case, where 16 months went by, they still didn't have the stuff out the phone. About 2 weeks before we have our hearing, lo and behold, the phone's cracked. So now it's open. And so it took about 2 years and a month for them to open the phone. But this Cellbrite thing is huge. They're able to open up. They're able to pull all of your messages, even the ones you think you deleted. This thing goes in there deep and takes all the information off.
Let me ask you a question. So this helps me. So do they have to have the phone, or can they pull through the cellular company?
Sometimes those messages that are sent because a lot of people have these unlimited plans, that stuff is only kept for so long. So sometimes it's hard to get that information. But when they get your phone, they can crack that baby open. And then they can get inside that phone, and even messages you think you got rid of are still there.
Wow.
What if you get a new phone? They could even go further into as long as you had your phone number or just the phone.
It's your phone more than anything, because what people don't understand, the cell phone companies only keep the messages so long. Some people think, oh, you got to go to the company. Don't work that way, because everybody has these unlimited plans. Messages are going zoom, 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 zoom. So a lot of the cell phone companies, they really don't want to get subpoenaed to give the stuff up. So sometimes after a couple of years, they purge it. But that particular phone, if you still got it, it has that information in there.
Calvin,
Go
ahead.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to ask, what if the phone is broken up and all that stuff? They still can retrieve the data out of it?
They can still go pull that data out of it. They have some really good people technology-wise. So you got to be careful with that. They can pull that stuff out that phone.
Oh,
is that a government? That's a government contracted thing?
Well, it came up because what would happen back in the day, they couldn't get stuff out of the Apple phones. You know that, right? Apple did not want to comply with
that whole NSA thing that happened with what's his name? Michael.
Yeah, but for a while, Apple, you couldn't crack into those Apple phones, and so people that used to have Samsung phones, I was like, y'all are crazy. There's no way I get a Samsung. Those are easy to open up. Well, Apple used to have it to where you couldn't get in there, and they had special people in their company that they didn't tell people about that could actually open that phone and get the information out of. I knew one of them. And so the crazy part is now Cellbrite has jumped their system to where they can go into even these Apple phones and pull the stuff out.
Wow, that is so crazy. That's crazy.
Technology right now is crazy. They do this thing also called geomapping. Do y'all understand what geomapping is? Geomapping is this. So let's say I commit a crime and I travel from New York. If I travel to Brooklyn to Harlem and I commit a crime, they can track me by my cell towers and when my car is moving. Then they go pull the cameras. There's a company called Flock. Do y'all know what Flock is?
No.
Oh my God. I got to educate you guys. Flock is a private company, and they're set up at about 75% of the freeway entrances in the company, the major intersections, all of the mall entrances in the country where you go to a light and you got to turn it to the mall. They're set up there. They're set up at freeway entries. There is a network of flock cameras that's a private company, and they're taking pictures of your car. They're snapping license plates. So that's why I try to tell people, you think you're committing a crime nowadays and getting away with it? They can pull all the flock data and understand where your car entered the freeway at and where it exited. And they have a network all around the company. It's a company out of Florida called Flock.
But
You know what's crazy is when I was getting my degree in marketing. Do you know that even when you go to the mall, right, and you think that you're picking out an outfit, there's an actual company that, as you know, all those like security cameras. You think that is watching. You think it's because they're looking for stealing. No, they're looking for what shirt you pick up, what you do. Go. How do you go to this? Do you go to the cash register? Like, but we knew about this in the marketing world. I did not know that this exists even in the legal world. That's crazy.
And guess what? You know, people don't. They have facial recognition software in these stores. So let's say I get caught stealing at Macy's on May 10th. And what happens is I get caught and I happen to go to jail that day. What that company does is they put your face in their database and they go back to see other times when you were in their store. And they can put additional cases on you. And, you know, for a bunch of us, some of these criminals were going to, let's say, a Marshall's in Brooklyn and then go to a Marshall's in Harlem area, right? And steal both places. Well, let's say they catch you stealing in Brooklyn and you go in that store. The Brooklyn store is going to send your picture to their network of cameras. And they'll recognize your face and see if you went in any of the other stores. Let's say I stole at both of them. I only got caught here. Well, what they're going to do, your face is going to pop up. They're going to go to the other store and they're going to watch you walk in and they're going to watch your whole thing as you go around the store.
How many cases have you seen this go down that you're dealing with right now?
Man, all the time. I tell my clients now, I say, man, listen, the way you guys were taught to commit crimes, that's over. That's over. Because there's so much stuff that I could tell you, and I'm glad we're having this conversation. Like, I'll give you an example. Let's say I go buy a car to tote the note lot, right? And let's say I go commit a crime in that car, and the license plate comes up, right? Well, I don't own the car yet, right? The car is titled to the tote the note company a lot, right? So you know what the police do? They go to the tote the note company and then they ask about the car, but they're not just asking about the car. You know what they're asking for? Remember back in the day, you could buy a car from a tote the note lot, not pay for it and hide it? Right. Guess what they got in them? They got trackers in them right now, right?
Right.
They go to the tote the note lot, get the tracker data that's in the tote the note. They go get it from them. So let's say I get away smooth, but they got a clip of my license plate. I go, oh man, got away and they didn't catch me. But they clip my license plate. And let's say, okay, I'm gonna go over there. Or let's say they didn't catch my license plate. Say I have a black Chevy. So they search all the black Chevys through their database and they see Chacon Motors own one and it's not far from the location I committed the crime at. They go to Chacon, they pull the data out of the tracker that's in the car. It shows you were at the location at the time that the crime was committed because they sold you a car. Now they know who you are and they got the tracking information from the car at the time that you were committing the crime. Then what they can do, they can take that data, go and pull your cell phone. They can match.
Wait, without a warrant? Without a warrant? They can just pull your cell phone data without a warrant?
Yeah, they're going to be able to because once they realize, hey, you're a potential, it's probable cause is easy to get. It's easy to get. So once they start connecting you to the crime to the smallest amount, the judge is going to give them the ability to take things a step further. So then they look for yourself. They get your cell phone records, and your cell phone pings off certain towers. There's towers all along the way.
What if the chip is out the phone? Can they still get the information, or is it just like?
What do you mean?
Like, so you know how you have that chip that card in the phone? Is it based on like Wi-Fi, or is it based on the chip that's in the phone?
It's a chip that it's in the phone that holds your data. That stuff doesn't leave. You think you deleted it, it's still there.
Wow. So if you take the chip out, but the Wi-Fi probably is uploading it somewhere.
Exactly. You're still because your phone still has a Wi-Fi. You can take it out, but guess what happens? They still track you. Your cell phone is going to ping off certain things. That's why right now when I try
you know how the chip is the thing that you say if you're like you know how like people got like these Wi-Fi phones where they ain't like connected to like a cell phone. Maybe they like get all their stuff on Wi-Fi. I mean, I'm not just asking this like because some people like they're being slick, you know, by like having
you don't control what tower your phone goes to. It attaches to the closest tower.
Even if you don't have a chip in it, it still goes to a cell phone tower.
Yes, that's how it's able to operate. So people think they're getting away with huh?
Now they said Cassie had a burner phone. Was the burner phones? Did they break them down too, Mel?
They can break those down.
So it's no such thing as a burner phone no more.
Yeah, but listen, you have to think about it. Those burner phones, they can tell you, they can find out where they were bought from. They can find out who they were sold to. They can pull the cameras. They can pull the tapes. You remember, fly cameras are everywhere. So let's say I go to the corner store buy a burner phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to see me walk in and buy that burner phone. They're going to be able to tell. And let's say what had been 2 years. I got a burner phone. They know the burner phone because they know I purchased it. And even if you buy a burner phone from a store, they still have a block of serial numbers that's been delivered to that particular store. So they're going to be able to pull that stuff up. Man, look, the technology is caught up with us. It just has. I had a murder case where there was 2 guys pimping a girl and another guy trying to pimp her. They got mad at the other pimp, but the other pimp had more money. So these 2 guys, the co-pimps, murdered the pimp. And they were able to track the girl going to his house, staying there for an hour. He had sex with her. She leaves. She leaves her location on the phone so they can find her. And there's text going between him and them. She walks out the house while he's in the shower. They drive into the community. He gets out the shower. They pull up in his house and shoot him. Then it shows their phone leaving Irving, Texas, going back to Fort Worth, Texas. Because the cell phone towers, it shows cell phone tower here, cell phone tower entering the freeway, cell phone tower going through Grand Prairie, then hitting Fort Worth. It's geo mapping along with the cell phone data. So between all of these things, between Flock, between Cellbrite, between the trackers, between the cell phone towers, it's easy to track where you go, where you've been, and what you're doing.
Wow. Let me ask you a question in regards to this case. The fact that the prosecutors have cut their witnesses and now the defense is doing the same. I think that the prosecutor said they'll be done by Wednesday, perhaps even, I think today originally they said Wednesday, then they said by Friday because there's a little delay. But then the defense said they need 2 to 5 days when they said originally they would have to go all the way until July the 4th. What do you think that means as far as the defense?
What I think that means is the defense is probably going to try after watching the state, because a lot of times the defense, we go last. So what the defense is probably going to identify, they know where their problems are. And what they probably want to do is you're playing defense. So you want to address your problem areas. So they probably figured out how they can address their problem areas, where they need to go, and which witnesses that they need to call to be able to do so. So they probably made an adjustment. Now, the state finishing early, I think actually is a smart thing. And some of the stuff that they did today, Mel, like what you're coming on and letting us know, I think that's smart because sometimes you can put so much evidence out there that people will forget some of your better points. And sometimes you can overload the jury's mind with information because they're having to sit there every day. They get restless, they get tired. That's a lot of information. You ain't got to call 60 witnesses to prove a point. You might be able to condense those to 12 to 15 witnesses and get the same information that you would have gotten out of the 60. And more importantly, you're able to target where your strong points are. So you accentuate your strong points and get those witnesses on and off, because you don't want to go too far, because you can overload the jury. I give an example of that. Remember Casey Anthony that got off? I think she got off because the jury's minds got overloaded with information that they didn't need. That trial went forever. Remember how long it went?
Yeah.
It went so far and went so long, and they had so many witnesses, and some of those people were saying different things, that's why they had the reasonable doubt.
Right.
And so you got to be careful when you put your case up. And with Puffy then, what I try to do is I don't want to also overload my jury. So let's say I point out 15 to 20 strong points where I know, hey man, I got to really deal with those 20 points, right? The burden's on the state. My job is to defend. So let's say I got 20 problem areas. So, and I got a team of defense attorneys and people that read transcripts day and night. We're going to pull out our 15 to 20 problem areas with the witnesses, and then we're going to dissect those, and then we're going to go after those folks, those people, and we're going to use our witnesses to bring in reasonable doubt. We don't have to prove that Puffy didn't do it. They have to prove that he did. And so those are the things that you've got to focus on. And you have to have a strategy of being able to make sure that you sell it to a jury upon which they can consume it. I used to have a law school professor who said, you got to tell it to them like they're 7-year-olds. Because if you make things too complicated sometimes, you're doing yourself a disservice. So what I think Brian Steele and that crew is going to do, they're going to say, hey, look, Puffy got a problem with the prostitute. We're here a lot of the stuff today. They're going to deal with those things. They're going to go through that stuff with a fine-tooth comb. They're going to try to question those things with a fine-tooth comb. Any other issues he's had along the way through the other testimony of the other witnesses, they're going to dissect that. And they're really going to try to condense where their problems are and address those problems with testimony of particular witnesses.
Okay.
Now,
Question.
how about Brandon Paul? Brandon Paul is coming on tomorrow.
Now, Mr. Paul is testifying for the state. Is that correct?
Mel?
Yes, he's testifying for the state.
And who is he for the state?
Remember when Diddy was arrested? There was a white guy that was arrested right after him. They were
I
calling him
remember
the drug mule. That's him.
Yeah. So they're probably putting him on for that.
I thought he pleaded the 5th. Or
Well,
is that incorrect? Because
They
they
gave
said
him
he pleaded
immunity.
the 5th.
They gave him immunity today. So
And the reason why
Because
immunity
at
is
first,
important. Yeah.
At first they said that he pleaded the 5th, so they must have went and did a deal so he can testify.
Yeah.
And gave him immunity.
Yeah,
Because they
because then
said he was pleading the 5th the whole time, the whole thing.
But he can't do that because now they're going to instruct him to answer the questions, because the 5th is a right against self-incrimination, right? Well, if you have immunity and they can't charge you, then you got to testify.
But how about the other people they're naming, like Christina Coram and all that? What if they go on for the defense and for Diddy, can they get immunity? But they can't because it's not this. Federal government, correct?
Well, the federal government is the person that can give him the immunity. They can't get immunity from the defense attorneys. However, once again, there's ways, and I always tell people, there's ways to testify for the government, but not really give them everything that they want. And Mel, you kind of pointed out some things the other day of a few of the witnesses that, maybe said some good things about Puffy. Maybe did not give the state all of the information that they probably thought they were going to get out of that, or pointed out some good points about Puffy. So there are some things you can do as a witness, even though you have that immunity, you still can be able to maintain the immunity, and still, if you want to help Puffy, you can.
Okay,
Don't you think Jane Doe did that? Jane Doe did that.
Well, see, that's what I'm trying to talk about. Those things are actually possible, depending on the circumstances and situations.
So Mel, go ahead and ask your question. And I have a question too, because I'm like, so if the defense, so any witness for the defense cannot claim immunity, is that what's going on?
No, immunity is not something that you can claim. It's something that they give you. The defense attorney can't give anybody immunity, but the state can, because they're the one bringing the charges. The defense don't bring the charges.
So it's almost like they have like a advantage. Go ahead, Mel. Sorry about that.
Go ahead.
I know Mel got some questions. Go ahead, Mel.
Yes,
Go ahead.
sir.
Okay, so Calvin, let me give it to you like this, right? The government is basically painting the picture that Diddy was like a John Gotti crime boss, right? He was controlling people, and he had all these henchmen, which were essentially his bodyguards. He had his chief of staff, KK or Christina Coram, and they were doing everything that he said. But in the case, right, certain witnesses said that Diddy was beating the girls, or the girl testified she was getting her butt whipped. And these individuals came to her aid and tried to get Diddy to stop. How does that affect the case?
It really causes Diddy a problem, because what happens is you're actually engaged in physical violence with somebody doing something maybe that they don't want to do. And when it comes to whipping the girl, that's an issue. Now, people into some freaky stuff nowadays, so sometimes these people are into a bunch of freaky stuff. But if they can show that particular witness did not consent to that, it didn't really want to do it, and she was pushed into doing it when she didn't want to do it, that's a huge problem for Diddy. Diddy has some problems, because one thing that I'll tell you, like, for example, it's funny as we're having this conversation, when I first got on with y'all, I kind of went on about 10, 15 minutes talking about technology, right?
Right.
I always tell people this. There was a way 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 15 years ago, where you could operate, get rid of evidence, and have plausible deniability of being involved in certain things. But with technology, with body cams, with flight cameras, with Cellbrite, with geo mapping. Geo mapping is basically mapping a map out to where you were on Sunday from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock. Remember that murder I told you about? They were able to show that the guys left Fort Worth at 10:30, got to Irving at 11, stayed there a couple of minutes, and from 11:05 to 11:40 traveled back to Fort Worth. And it gives you the route that you took to get there.
Wow.
Technology has changed the game. So, for example, Diddy's been in the game a long time, right? And let's say 10 years ago, he had a team of folks doing things for him, making sure people didn't find out about certain things, keeping certain things under the wrap. And you train your people that work for you to be able to do that so that it doesn't come out. Well, guess what? What you're not doing is training them for the new technology that's come out. And so now they're doing things in a way that may have worked 10 years ago, but 4 or 5 years ago, that stopped working. That's why, and I hate to talk about other cases, I'm talking about Diddy. That's why Big U screwed. Because the gang members in LA used to teach their guys how to commit crimes and kind of get away with it and stay out the way. Technology has killed that. Nowadays, I wouldn't even be a criminal. I'm going to be honest with you. It's so many eyes on you. There's so many ways to track you, so many ways to find who you are and where you're at and what you did. It's overwhelming. And when you got a Fed case, it's 10 times worse.
Wow.
That is crazy. Wow.
You got to
But
be careful.
Mel, you go back and you say they're charging him like John Gotti, but he's not John Gotti. John Gotti had a criminal enterprise, but do you still think after all of this time you're in the courtroom that he has a criminal enterprise like John Gotti?
Well, they basically are charging him with a RICO case, racketeering, right?
Yeah.
So there's the point of interest that I'm talking about. They're charging him on that level as though he has organized crime, organized enterprise.
And you have to think about it. He's worth $1 billion. That probably's worth $1 billion. He has a lot of people working for him.
Yeah, but I still don't see no
Trust me, it don't matter whether we listen. Let me just say this. I'm gonna just say this. We are not legal professionals. We don't see it. Here's a legal professional. So what happens is that us as regular, there's legalese, there's like legal stuff, there's all this like other language that goes on.
Yeah.
So there are different ways that they're able to get around like what the average public sees and be able to prosecute based on this. This is one thing I wanted to ask. Is this about a legal precedent, setting the legal precedent so that therefore they're able to prosecute others?
I think it can be, and I think that's scary.
Yeah, it is.
And I think that's scary. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because, and I don't want to sound chauvinistic, but there for years, men of power and influence have done what they wanted to do with women in ways that maybe we don't understand and we don't approve of.
Right.
But with that being said, there's also a group of women and a group of underclass that are willing to do whatever it takes to get that money. They're willing to have sex with whoever you want them to have sex with. They're willing to do things sexually promiscuous that they wouldn't do in the past. They're willing to be number 3 on a totem pole, knowing he got 2 or 3 other women. They're willing to do threesomes and foursomes and fivesomes. Hell, I see that. I see people doing that kind of stuff, and they ain't messing with nobody rich. They're just doing it.
They ain't got no money, right?
Exactly. So men of influence and power, we got to be careful about that because there's an issue that you got to think about. And, once again, that's why I say, man, Russell went to the damn Bali. He ain't coming back. Russ ain't stepping foot over here no more.
Oh, no.
And so I'm just being honest with you because he's probably talked to a lot of models that were 17, 18 years old, just turned 18. And he probably was kind of, get rid of one, talk to another 18-year-old. And then who knows what these people are going to say he did. And maybe he didn't do it. Maybe he did do it. But I always try to tell people, man, once somebody says you did something, and let's say you get found now guilty of that, they don't give you the press conference that you got when they said you did it. The stuff like that is hard to undo. And there's a lot of money involved. And I don't want to get into this, but I'm going to be very careful when I talk about this. As a Black man, when I see extremely musically talented men that are worth $1 billion, that have done $1 billion worth of business, and I see people are trying to sue them, pull them into lawsuits, bringing up stuff that happened 10, 15, 20 years ago, making the ability to be able to do that. I also have to use my third eye and say, why is this happening now?
Right, crying like it just happened yesterday. This girl on the stand. Ooh.
Well, see, that's the issue we got to be careful about because, but as the men, you can't cry about, oh, well, they're doing this to me. Well, you partook in situations and behavior to put yourself in that position.
Right.
So I can't feel sorry for when you comes to that. But there is a huge transfer of wealth that's happening. And I'm gonna give you 2 things. You're coming out to Diddy and Jay-Z, who are probably the most wealthy African-American men in terms of music in the country. So you're dealing with that. And then right now, the change in the music industry. Streaming music is a hustle. They're not paying these guys.
Oh, no, it's going to be AI. It's AI now because now Timbaland just signed his first AI person. So they're getting rid of the old guard and getting over with the new.
It's even worse.
Yeah.
It's worse than that because think about it. What the record companies have done now is they bought the streaming companies. And then they're only paying the artists a little bit. They're all part owners of the streaming companies now. And now they're paying the artists a certain amount of money per play. So who's keeping all the revenue? Owning your masters are not the same. It's not going to bring you the money that it used to bring you from back in the day.
No, it's not, because it's not
Mel,
owned
Mel,
by a sole proprietor.
right,
Yeah.
Mel, you got a good question here.
A
If
sole
you don't
entity.
mind, if you don't mind, Mel, asking why are Cowboys and Angels service legal, but it's legal to use the service? What do you think?
Yeah, I want to know that too.
What do you
What-
mean, Cowboys and Angels? What is that?
So
That's
Cowboys and Angels was the dancing service that they used to hire these dancers.
Yeah, that's right. I
But
can
then it
answer
turned
that for you.
into okay, go ahead.
Let me answer that for y'all.
All right.
It's a service because really the only thing you're supposed to do really is dance. And what's happening is these guys are coming out and doing more than dancing. So Mel, to my argument yesterday, what happens is if I bring you in just to dance and people get all hot and bothered and then we decide to have sex, am I paying for the sex or am I paying for the dancing?
But if they're a willing participant and they're agreeing to take the money for sex, how can you say that's like they're
That's
not
not the
being
defense you
forced,
want to
they're
use.
not being trafficked?
That's not the defense you want to use because prostitution is illegal. So
And
if I'm
it's
a
not
defense-
federally illegally though.
But
It's
if-
not it's only state illegal. So therefore, if you have a RICO charge and you're doing something illegal from the state charge, they can't charge you from a federal, right? Or is that like something that like gets muddy in the waters?
let me tell you. Let me tell you basically what it is. These escort services and dance services and modeling services, they're up front typically for prostitution. But what's going to be the argument? If I'm Puffy, I'm going to say, hey, I just paid these guys to come dance. Now, if they decided and she decided that they wanted to have sex, after that, that's on them. In addition to that, if there was no delineation between what's being paid to have sex, not have sex, if I didn't have sex. So if I'm the defense, and mark my word, they're going to come up with this. They're going to approach it somewhat this way because they have to, because it's too obvious. What's the difference between, hey, I paid them to come dance as opposed to I paid them for sex? And
I think it's even deeper.
Because at this point, Mel, what was exposed today, that's really the kind of arguments you got to make.
And hold on, I
Because-
would say this before. I would say even deeper that even beyond that is that it was the women who hired these people. It wasn't Diddy. He never made a phone call. So
No, that's not a good argument.
That's
He
not a
was
good-
in contact.
I wanna-
He was in
let me-
contact.
I
That's
just
not a
want
good
to
argument.
clarify. He did at certain times. He did make the connections.
And can I help y'all with
He
one more
did.
thing? Let me
Okay,
help
go
y'all
ahead.
with one more thing. Let's say me, you and Mel are we got a sex trafficking organization. We're just gonna put it out like that, right? So Mel is in the middle. Genesis, me and you never actually talk. But I tell Mel, hey man, go make this happen. And then Mel tells you, hey man, go make that happen. And let's say me and you never actually even talk face to face. You never receive any instruction from me, but you receive instruction from Mel. And let's say I never even met you. Is there a RICO with us?
No, I don't
There is.
think so.
There is. There is.
Wow, what?
There is. There is.
What?
And that's the danger of a RICO. You don't even have to know your co-conspirators. But because I told Mel to do something and Mel told you to go do what I wanted Mel to do, we got a RICO now.
Wow.
And that's why I say it's kind of like they're trying to paint him like the John Gotti or the Sopranos or what have you, and hit him with that RICO.
Right.
Man, the RICO is a tough case to fight. And what you have to impart upon your jury is you want to make sure, and my argument would be that if the sex workers did come, they're coming to dance more than anything. Now, if they're
did
coming
they
to
get
have
R.
sex, that's
Kelly
up to
on
them.
RICO? Did
No.
they do R. Kelly on RICO or no?
Yeah, they got him on the RICO. Of course.
What?
The one man, he
So this
was the
whole
first.
thing is Rico. They're
Hold on.
using Rico to fuck people over.
That's the way they do it. They've been doing it. They did it with the mob. That's the only way they could ever catch the mob.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that. I didn't know this. What?
I didn't know R. Kelly went for his charges was Rico.
I'm
I
sorry.
didn't know
course.
that.
All right, now
either.
go ahead.
Of course.
Yeah, he had a group of people protecting him. He traveled with a group of folks. They travel with folks, and they handle his business. They did his dirty work.
Listen, we're asking. I know it might be frustrating, but you know what? There might be some people that don't understand that what's going on, because I'm like, I didn't know that R. Kelly was a Rico. What?
But well, you remember, it's some of the same things that are happening: the procuring of the girls, the bringing them to your house, making them stay there, not letting them leave. You know, and then you have to really think about, even with R. Kelly, when that girl didn't show up at the trial the first time he got in trouble, I knew probably what happened. And I'm not saying I would do this, but he probably put that girl on a train to travel to another state by train. They put her on a plane going out this country. Or they hit her somewhere where they didn't really use standard public transportation. And that's why they couldn't find the girl.
Oh, but I know. Listen, I don't want to interrupt Mel because I know he got like some real stuff. Listen. We're gonna be quiet and let Mel and Calvin go back and forth, because I know there was some real other stuff that came out in this case. This is crazy. Listen, I'm sorry that we're interrupting because I just didn't know.
Yeah,
it's what's going on. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of confused because we just covered the R. Kelly situation. They're saying that he felt like he's getting like poisoned in prison and all this other stuff. And now that I know that he got a RICO charge, it makes sense now. He's in federal prison. He's not in state prison for this.
Yeah, our show was yesterday, Calvin and I. This is your show, so rock out, ask your question. This is your time to do your thing.
Yeah.
So.
And Mel, I'm glad that you're helping me point this out, ladies, because let me tell you something. There was a lot of things before I became an attorney, stuff like this, man. I was like, what? I don't even know that guy. How are you gonna put me in a case with him? But as I read and then I learned through the years, this is how they can take folks down. That's how they take gangs down nowadays. That's how they took John Gotti and them down back in the day, because they would never be able to catch them because the big man would always keep his hands clean.
Yeah, but John Gotti had him, and then he had his captains. He had a whole organization. So they're trying to say it's Diddy, and then his employees is it like his co-conspirators, like his like, you know, like breaking it down like the mob.
Yeah,
like
that's what it is. But see, that's what you got to understand. If I'm Puppy and I want to get these freak offs done, I cannot get my hands dirty. So I gotta have a person to order the girls or order the guys.
Yeah, but I can't put my finger around that. It's over a daggone freak off, and it's over Cassie and him. This is all stemming from Cassie and him.
No, not true. Not true. Let me explain. Okay, let me frame it a little bit better for you, right? Because this is the argument that I've been hearing. So it's not just Cassie. You have Cassie, you have Mia, you have all these individuals that have, in some way, all these criminal acts have occurred, right? But here's the thing, Calvin. I want to ask you. Diddy has his business. He has a chief of staff. He has his security, and they run this operation of his legitimate businesses, right? But today in court, they're showing where Christina Korum, his chief of staff, is now getting involved in these men that are being flown from New York to LA. And when drugs need more drugs, she's facilitating different things in the background. How does that affect this case, being that she's not just running the company, she's also running his personal life that's consumed with these freak offs?
And see, that's the problem that he's going to have, because he's involving his staff, his business staff, onto his personal side. And when I say personal side, I'm running Bad Boy Records, Bad Boy Entertainment. What do setting up freak offs do for the business? What is that doing for the business? That doesn't do anything with the business. What is hiding a tape or paying for a tape to make sure that it doesn't see the light of day? And I'm paying somebody $100,000.
That's it.
What does that have to do with the business? That's keeping Puffy out of trouble, not Bad Boy out of trouble, Puffy out of trouble. So now it becomes they're acting on a personal level for him. And see, this is the issue. There's a thing called, piercing the corporate shield, as they say. So you're no longer acting in your corporate capacity when you're trying to pay for tapes so that something personal doesn't get out about somebody. Once he hit that woman and you realize the crime has been committed, you're hiding that from on his personal level. He's doing a freak off at a hotel. He's there specifically to do a freak off, not for her to sing or to handle any business. And so those are the issues that Puffy's going to have. Now, somebody said none of these women are innocent. They knew what they was getting into it because they were doing it too. So why isn't women being charged? They did things for him and willingly wanted to.
Because they got immunity.
Number one, they got immunity, but a part of that is it's a great question. And when I say it's a great question, how can Hugh Hefner do what he did for years and nobody charged him with anything?
Nothing. Nothing.
And I know, and I won't say how, I know that he was involved in a bunch of stuff with these women and making them do A, B, and C and expelling them if they did not.
Oh, he had 3 women living with him before he passed.
But even younger women though. Even
he had
younger
more
women,
than that.
but beneath the age.
But believe it or not,
I know that for a fact because you know what? I lived in Detroit. His actual person that ran his actual thing was a black woman from Detroit. I went into her house. She had all the Playboy Mansion stuff, and it was like younger women and stuff. Pictures of younger women. It was great. It was crazy. But back in those days, it wasn't a big deal to be fooling around with younger women. So you could be like,
I'll tell you this. I have a friend, very close friend of mine. I won't say his name because I don't want he doesn't like people sharing this kind of stuff. He ended up having some issues when he was younger, and he ended up getting separated from his daughter because he was dating a woman from a wealthy family. The daughter ended up rebelling against that wealthy family. She literally lived in the Playboy Mansion for 3 years. And so I kind of know that Hugh Hefner, what he was doing is just another level. He had his own people doing some of the same things. Not saying that they were like this with Puffy, but he had people that carried out what he wanted to do and getting women and bringing them there and letting them go shopping and letting them live there. And see, that's the issue. The other part of it is Puffy is also very generous to these people that work for him. They're able to take the corporate credit cards. They're able to go buy this, buy that, live here, live there, travel here, travel there. They're able to get paid a particular salary. So they get used to a lifestyle. And so because Puffy is the person that's bringing it in, you always protect the king. So they go from being his business cohorts to making sure his personal stuff stays quiet. And then that's where the issue is going to be because they're no longer working at him in a corporate capacity.
And they're protecting their own personal interests at that point, you know?
And his personal
Come on now. Because if I'm getting $10,000 a month, why would I be dropping a dime on my person that's giving me $10,000 a month?
I'm not going to. And see, but my concern, and I'll say this because I don't want to make a lot of the women that are watching this upset. My concern is a lot of the women out here know what they're getting into and they're okay with doing it and they want to do it because they get the spoils of it. And then when that gets cut off and they can't do it anymore, then they want to say, oh, he raped me. Oh, he made me.
Right.
Oh, he made me.
Right.
When that wasn't the case sometimes. Sometimes they wanted to do some of these things. And in today's world, men have to understand because of the Me Too movement, you got to be extremely careful who you get yourself involved with.
But don't you think everybody that has money, especially running a corporation, because there's a lot of CEOs that's out there they have people like assistants, personal assistants that handle their personal business and their regular business. So they have assistants that help them throughout all that stuff.
Yeah, but remember,
booking prostitutes and all that stuff.
Yeah,
This
but
is
remember,
not-
that's what I'm saying. Some
Yeah.
people, I always tell people, man, there are people that are they say very famous, they have drug problems. And so they'll have a mule. They have one guy, and his one job is to what? Go get the dope.
Yep.
And if he get caught, he take the charge. I'll take the charge, you bomb me out. I'll deal with it. So I'm telling you, I mean, that's a different, they live in a different world. It may not seem normal to us, but that's the way some business is handled nowadays with people that of wealth and people that have means, right? But my concern is how do we know the truth from the fake? I mean, when somebody realizes you have $1 billion, man, people come out the woodwork.
That's what I think. He's being crucified. Yeah.
If I won the lottery right now, I would go anonymous. And the people I would help them a little bit at a time. They wouldn't even know I hit a bunch of money. Because you start telling people you got money, people come out of the woodworks. And I'll say this to you because I work for an NBA basketball player, and we dealt with some issues with folks trying to hustle us for money. We dealt with a whole scheme one time. And it was a shame because I was like, damn, man, how do you even get into a relationship right now? If I ain't with the woman that was with me when we was in high school, I don't know, man. And even her, I got to look with the side eye. She got some friends she gonna listen to too much.
Right.
So you got to be careful. And these people are very, very elaborate in hooking these music executives and ball players and big money guys. Like, they're really good at it.
Look at Shannon Sharp. His cases, I can't.
Oh,
wait
that's
until
gonna be
his
the
case
next one
come
we
out.
cover. But listen, Mel, I want you to listen. There's more stuff that we didn't get. I want you to get more into that because there's some stuff that I'm sorry. I know we it's just salacious, child. So listen, there's more stuff that happened today. I want you to go into what happened, the rest of it, and ask Calvin because I think this is gonna be. It's crazy. This is. I feel like he about to get railroaded. I feel so. I'm not. Listen. I know. Listen. I've been a DJ at Twitter Club. I don't care. Like, who cares? Okay, he was jaying off. He liked baby oil. He had a small peen. He liked to rub stuff on his nipple. Who gives a shit? Okay. Bottom line is that these women were complicit in the same situation. Stop crying on a stand because the guy is still paying your freaking rent right now, and then you got 30 million. So to me, I'm like, what is going on? Like, what is the problem? Like, what are you crying about? Like, were you crying because you got you still getting your rent paid $10,000 a month?
But it seemed like half of them were subpoenaed
They were
go.
all
and they
sex
did
workers.
not
I'm
have-
sorry.
they could-
Everybody was a
but-
sex worker.
But they
Kathy
were all
was-
subpoenaed to go, and they said they did not want to be up on the stand, and they had to tell their truth.
I'm gonna say this is that
They had to make their deal because they did not want to be in that criminal enterprise because
Bottom
I think
line,
they were being taunted by the prosecution.
Can I help y'all with something real quick?
Okay, go ahead. They all were sex workers to me. Every
That's
single one of them.
Let me tell y'all this. That's one of the arguments that I'm going to make if I'm his defense team. Look, you got all these folks telling all these stories. Why are they saying this? Oh, they've been given immunity. But some of these people are being involved in this behavior. And then some of the stuff that's testified to that you can't literally put documentation to, they have to say this because if they don't say it, what's going to happen to them?
They're getting pressured.
Of course.
To go to jail.
So, and I'll tell you, we got to always be careful. And one of the things I try to have people be mindful of, people think that a lot of folks are pro-government. There's some people that did not like the federal government. And there's some folks that go, they're the big bully with a stick. Is this really worth doing all this for? Is he involved in a RICO? Is he just a freak? And you got to be very careful when you think that the jury's just going to go back there and just say, yeah, we're going to go ahead and convict him. Because everybody don't feel that way about the government. Everybody's not as trusting as the government, especially in this damn Trump era. You know, they look at the government like, hey, man, something wrong with them fellas, boy. You know, you got to think about that. So you always got to be really, really mindful of what a jury is thinking, because you got to be careful as the state and even as the judge. When you seem like you're trying to pile on to someone and you're throwing your weight around. Look at all of these witnesses that have immunity. If I'm Brian Steele, I'm going to say, why did they have to give 15 witnesses immunity? You know why? Because some of these people were allegedly involved in legal behavior. And not only that, they have to say Puffy told them to do it. Because if they don't, they're not Puffy Combs. They don't have $100 million budget to have a defense team come up and fight this government.
Yep.
Puffy's paying their bills. And without that money, they don't have
still
anything.
Paying the bill right now while he's in jail.
So that's
what the hell?
That's part of the argument that I am going to make. I'm going to make the argument if the witnesses testifying against Puffy have to do it because they're going to get charged. And any evidence that points negatively toward my client, is it a crime to have people dancing? Is this a RICO, or is this just an assault that was caught on camera and we rolled it into something else? You're going to have to make those arguments as a defense attorney. You're going to have to be creative. Your mind is going to have to shoot in 10 different directions. You can't look straight on. You have to have an angle. And people like Brian Steele and the team that he has together, they're going to be smart about thinking the best arguments up. And they have studied every particular thing about each particular juror that got picked on this damn case. And they're going to know.
I have a question. Now, juror number 6, they said that he lived in New Jersey, but he was saying he lived in Brooklyn. So that was a conflict, right? But listen to this. But what was I going to make a point? Like,
how did they not know that before? Like, why is that now finding out?
Well, people don't understand. I think he had an address upon where he could say he stayed in Brooklyn. There was a number of days where he said he stayed up in Brooklyn and then went back to Jersey. So that can be debatable about where he actually lives. The issue is, does he live in a jurisdiction upon which the jury pool can be pulled from? So can he be testifying in the District of New York when he lives in New Jersey as a resident? If you say he lives in New Jersey, then he shouldn't be part of that jury pool. He's ineligible.
Right, but they should have been. To me, when they first picked him, they should have known that background right there.
But you don't know. You have to take people for their words. They ask him the question. When they ask you the question, you're supposed to be honest. They're not going to know every single thing. They can't put eyes on everybody and know where everybody's at.
But it's like with the federal government, they put eyes on everybody else.
Yeah, but
why don't they put eyes on them, to go in their background to see what's going on before they? Okay,
they can't really do that like that. They can't just. That's an invasion of your own privacy, even though you're getting picked for a jury. They're just trying to make sure you're eligible to serve on that particular jury. If you live in New Jersey and you don't live in the Southern District, you don't need to be out being a juror in a case in the Southern District. That's just that. That's jurisdictional.
So here's the thing. Here's the question, though. So now that they have this white juror now that's replacing that juror, do you think it's going to be an issue where it's it seems to me like the judge is partial. I'm sorry.
Well, see, that's the issue, and that's why I try to tell everybody the judge needs to be careful about how he's ruling about things. Number one. Number two, if the jury senses that they think the judge is being partial, if the jury seems to think that the state's being a little too on the heavy-handed side, they can take this thing in another direction. So people don't always trust the government like that. The government
can I show you how the judge is being partial? Huh? Let me show you how the judge is being partial. Now, time and time again, you said that they will not do a mistrial. People have lied on the stand. several times, and he keeps overruling, sustaining, like allowing it. You know what I'm saying? And then now you have a juror member that's not whatever. And then so okay, we'll switch that out and then put this new juror. Could that be a claim for that the judge is not being impartial, and that they could use that in their case for because I think that this was what was going to happen is that the defense is going to eventually like just go for
listen, the state's not going to know everything that everybody's doing, right? So it's not going to always be, well, I know that they're lying. We can't say 100% these people are lying, or that they told a lie on purpose. And we can't always prove that the state knew that they know all of what they were going to testify to a T 100%. And so when it comes to mistrial stuff, you want to make sure that as a defense team that you object to certain things. And if the judge makes a ruling that's wrong or that's unfair and improper, you want to be able to call them on that if on an appeal. And if you give Puffy a new trial, then the defense is going to have a little bit of an advantage because they're going to know how the state's going to come at them, and they're going to know where their problems are. So if I'm a defendant, if I'm Brian Steele, and if I'm Puffy Combs, my hope is to get a not guilty. But if I can't get a not guilty, even if they get a guilty and my lawyers do a good enough job to question the conviction and give me an appeal, and we have to do it all over again, then it puts me in a position where I'm allowed to fight. In that situation, what you're allowed to do is be able to request bond again. And you're able to also know kind of what's going to come at you, because you can take the full transcript of the first trial and know where your problems are. So
is the requesting of bond again with the same judge or with another judge, a whole other judge, a whole new?
Yeah, it depends. If it gets routed to that same judge, maybe. But sometimes if it's shown that judge was not being fair and he was not being fair and impartial, then of course it's going to go to another judge. So that's why you want to be able to what they call preserve your error, which means if a judge makes an error, you have preserved that by doing this thing called objecting, right? So that's why you want to be able to do that. But y'all, listen, I wish I could keep going.
Hold on, real quick. I think Mel has some questions. Right. So I want Mel to I'm sorry, because Mel is the one that really got the information. Please don't leave. Just let Mel, because I know he got some information and wants to know some answers. So please just stay a little bit longer to answer Mel's question. We're gonna be quiet. Sorry about
what you got, Mel.
No, I don't want to keep you any longer, man. It's been a long day.
I'm okay.
No, go ahead.
Hit me with one more thing for the day that you want to highlight based on what you heard today, and we'll leave it at that.
All right, fair enough. I want to make sure you do what you got to do, brother. You know what I mean? It's been a long day. So in court, the prosecutors, they had a chart that they put together that shows all of the going back and forth between Diddy, KK, and the different security guards and so forth. The agent came from the Southern District, and basically she said that the trial team put this chart together. Under cross-examination, Tenny Garagos highlighted, which I thought it was very good. They allegedly put all of the transcripts from the text messages between the parties that were in the circle. However, they did not put in the parts where Cassie would say, I want all these big black D's and I'm going to lick them from the top to the bottom. They didn't put in there where Cassie basically says, what Diddy says to Cassie, let's just have one last freak off. She says, I don't want to just have one last freak off. I want to have the first freak off for the rest of our lives. They did not put anything that would incriminate Cassie into this chart. They just put Diddy's. It made it seem like the government was being shady. What do you think?
And that's what the defense is going to do. They're going to point out to all these left out text messages, because remember, they have all the access to the same messages that the state is using. So the one text messages that are left out, they're going to point out the government is hiding something from you. The government is making Cassie seem like she's an angel. She's a willing participant in this. She's actually directing Puffy to order her some men. And the jury will not take kindly to that, because remember, a lot of Americans are afraid of big government. They're afraid of Big Brother watching over them, telling them to do A, B, and C. Cheating the system. Not including text messages. Not including messages and contacts. Only sharing the stuff that helps prove what they want, as opposed to they're supposed to be finders of justice, right? So if you're a finder of justice, you don't not include information that's supposed to give the full story. So you don't want to cherry pick only messages that are going to hurt Puffy and intentionally leave out messages that help him. And if I'm Brian Steele, I'm going to point that out. I'm going to say, look, this is what they do. The government is lying to you. They have all this power. Look at these text exchanges, but they're not putting Cassie's in there. They're not telling you how she ordered it, how much she wanted it, and how many more times she wanted to do it. And she got 30 million on top of all of that. So I'm going to make those arguments as a defense attorney. Like, Puffy still has a fighting chance. His people just got to be good at doing what they're doing. And I will tell you, that Brian Steele guy, he's good. I don't just throw that out.
Oh yeah,
He
Brian
good.
Steele is good.
He good.
I
So
watched him on the Young Thug case.
yeah,
He's good. He's very good.
and I'm gonna tell you, you put an attorney on TV like that, and he knows he can make a name for himself, and he's gonna give you his best because he knows it's an advertising ploy for him and the rest of the people that ever want to hire him in his life. He can make a career of one case. His
But I
retainer
like
went up to
Brian
$500,000 now because of dealing with Young Thug and Puffy. Think about it. Why you think
Oh,
Puffy
yeah.
hired him?
And here's another thing is that I want to ask this. Hold on. I want Mel to ask one more question because I just know that Mel got some more information.
No, I'm done. I've emptied
You did?
the chamber.
All right.
Yeah,
So
and I'm gonna
I'm-
tell y'all, listen, we can
Hold on,
definitely
real
do this.
quick.
Go ahead.
I want to ask one last question, right?
One last for the day.
So,
You good.
you know me. I'm like, I just want to know the information. So, all right. Excuse me. When it really comes down to it, you have. I'm sorry, I lost the question. Give me a second. Just give me a second. Hold on. I had a good question. Oh my God! Please don't leave. All right. So, let me calm down.
So let me ask you a question while she get it together. Do you
You
think
good.
we have a RICO or not?
I think we possibly have a RICO. They have enough information to try to include Puffy in a RICO. However, I will say that if the state is excluding messages like this and they show a pattern that they're doing that, and if Brian Steele makes an argument that I think he's going to make, an argument like I know I would make, and he's probably going to do it even better than me, and they have more resources than I ever have when I deal with my cases, he got a puncher's chance. He does. Believe it or not. You know, I've had situations where because they were trying to overdo it, I've seen juries punish prosecution teams for stuff like that by not convicting the person. Because you got to understand, when the state or the federal government does stuff like that, to like not include messages and try to teach a jury, oh, look at all the stuff Puffy did, but there's 30 or 40 text messages showing that the person wanted to do it and you left it out. They look at themselves as being in that seat, not being able to fight. So you got to understand that even though Puffy's a man of means, they're looking like, man, what if it was me in that seat and I didn't have the money to fight just like that? And I didn't have these lawyers to find those additional messages because I didn't have time for that lawyer to look for them and find them and be able to use them. You got to be real careful that even though the state probably is doing a good job of making their case, they got to be careful about overdoing it. And they got to be careful about not including everything in these exchanges of circles, of messages in these circles. That's something that they should not be doing. That's something that they could get punished for by a jury.
But isn't it hard for the jurors, to be focused on just that when they go home every day? Like they're not like in a secret location, like, so their mind can just be focused on the trial and not be biased towards everything. They go home every day. They can look at TV. They talk to their friends and family.
Yeah.
Come on now.
But listen,
Like-
I'm gonna share this with y'all. But like I said before, and this is my last comment because I really
Well, no, because I wanted to ask you one more thing.
Okay, what
And
you got?
okay, so here's the thing. All right, so
Yeah, but he was getting ready to answer. I wanted to hear this because it's been boggling my mind about these jurors going home.
But what I'm
every
just
day.
trying to tell you, a lot of them don't want to be questioned. You don't want that to happen because people want to make decision in haste, and then that might not be a bad thing because people think that that's going to hurt Puffy. It could hurt the state, believe it or not. All right,
Right.
Monica, go ahead and give me your last one.
I lost my question, but it's something to do with. Hold on, oh, man. I'll ask it on Sunday.
Yeah, just wait. We gotta save some of this for Sunday, y'all. And so, Mel, listen, man, I had a great time tonight. Love jumping on with y'all. But my dinner's here. I gotta eat, and plus, I got a long day tomorrow. Plus, we don't want to keep Mel up too late, man. He got to get back to that courtroom tomorrow. We need him well rested. We need his ears open, and his eyes open. Yeah, let's get him some rest so we can go and do our thing again on Sunday.
All right, I'll write it down. I think it has something to do with the new.
Just think about it and save it for Sunday because we got to save something for the people on Sunday. All right, y'all.
All right, much love.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure.
Take care. We'll do this again.
Yep,
All right.
definitely.
All right, peace, everybody. Much love. Shalom.